Welcome to Birmingham, Alabama for the SWAC football championship game between the Alabama State Hornets and the Texas Southern Tigers. Texas Southern is looking for their first SWAC championship since 1968. And just moments ago, Texas Southern head coach Johnny Cole addressed his team.
They pick their sick and hurt up and take them with them. They never leave a man behind. Well, guess what, man? Ooh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have wounded them. We have wounded them. They shall not rise. They shall not rise. Alive. Alive. Let's go back. Boom.
Welcome to Birmingham, Alabama for ESPN Classic College Football, brought to you by McDonald's. We're at Legion Field for the 12th edition of the SWAC championship game as Alabama State takes on Texas Southern. Let's check out the final conference standings and see how these teams got here. Texas Southern tied Grambling in the West, but beat the Tigers in head-to-head competition to gain a spot, while Alabama State tied Jackson State in the East, but also came out on top of their November 6th matchup to earn a trip here to Birmingham. Hello, everyone. I'm Charlie Neal, and throughout the game, I'll be bringing you updates on what's happening in black college football. As for Alabama State, this is their 4th appearance in the SWAC championship game. They are 1-2, last winning back in 2004. For Texas Southern, their first ever appearance in the championship game. In fact, the last time they won a SWAC title was back in 1968, and then they had to share it with 2 other schools. And needless to say, the Tigers from Houston are hungry. For more on today's game, let's take it upstairs to the guys calling the action, Anish Shroff and Jay Walker. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Charlie. Texas Southern, if they're going to win a SWAC title, they're going to have to do it without their starting quarterback. Arvell Nelson won't play in this game. The school holding him out, citing issues regarding his ability to participate. That means Rico Smalls, the backup, a Virginia transfer, will get the nod under center. But really, if Texas Southern's going to win this football game, it's going to be their defense. That's the reason they got here.
Yeah, this is the defense that's a championship caliber type of defense. Unfortunately, how do you replace the senior leadership of your quarterback, Arvell Nelson, in the biggest game of the year for all the marbles? Well, for them, they're going to have to be more aggressive on defense. They're going to have to press the issue a little bit, try and force and create more turnovers than they normally would, and hope that they can will this offense to a victory.
His defense, one of the best in the nation. And listen, Alabama State, their defense, no slouch either. And it really starts with their secondary.
When you talk about Alabama State, they're a different type of defense. They play very good defense by being ball hawks. Texas Southern, they want to pressure the quarterback, hit the quarterback as much as they can with their front four. Alabama State, all defensive secondary. And when you talk about patrolling the airways, Kewan Riley does it better than anybody else in the SWAC conference. He's simply all over the football field.
Kewan Riley, part of an Alabama State defense that leads the SWAC in interceptions. Coming up, it's Professor Jay's lesson plan. How that man, Marquise Jackson, factors in.
Warcraft Cataclysm in stores now. Rated T14.
Ping Payday knows that everyone needs a little help sometimes. Get the money you need with the dignity you deserve. We will treat you with respect and help you get the cash you've earned and need for bills, car repairs, medical emergencies, and other unexpected costs. It's your money. Get it now.
Well, welcome back to historic Legion Field here in Birmingham, Alabama. The SWAC championship, Alabama State and Texas Southern. Let's meet the head coaches. For Alabama State, it's Reggie Barlow. He's coaching at his alma mater, his 4th year. Graduated from Alabama State, prolific return man in the NFL. Won a Super Bowl with the Bucs, played a long time with the Jaguars. And Jay, if Reggie Barlow and the Hornets are going to be successful, what are they going to have to do?
Well, the lesson plan for Alabama State is offensively, they're so reliant upon the big play all season long. First and second down has been their Achilles heel. They must have positive yardage on first and second down. In the defense, they must help the offense with field position. Last time these two teams met, the Alabama State defense did not give their team great field position.
Meanwhile, on the other sideline, Johnny Cole has authored a turnaround in Houston for Texas Southern. Took over after the team went 0-11. That was after the 07 season. Here we are 3 years later. They're playing for a SWAC title. Keys for Texas Southern, Jay.
Real simple. On offense, protect the football. And on defense, when you got a front four as aggressive as they can be, they've got to hit the Alabama State quarterback time and time again.
Texas Southern to kick off. It'll be Robert Hirsch to kick it away. Alabama State to receive as the SWAC championship is about to get underway.
And we're on the way with the start of the 2010 Auburn SWAC football championship game.
Short kick taken by the Hornets, and not much for a return. So Alabama State on offense for the first time. They are led by Devin Dominguez, former baseball player. It was sort of an afterthought in the fall when it came to the quarterback competition. But Reggie Barlow liked what he saw, and he has entrusted Dominguez with the offense. They had some issues earlier in the season where Dominguez struggled. He was pulled, but Barlow made a decision around midseason that he's the guy they're going to sink or swim with. Clock down to 5. First play of the game. Dominguez to throw. Under pressure, chased, and he's taken down by a loss. Shamari Clemens. Let's meet this Alabama State offense. We're going to see Quindarius McKibben. We'll also see a lot of Andrew Pitts. He's the other running back. Nick Andrews, the go-to wide receiver. Up front, they've got a pretty good offensive line, much improved. Terran Jones, his sophomore, he turned just 19 last month, but a big kid, 6'9", 320. He's their left tackle.
And that very first play could be an indicative play right there. I think Alabama State coaches felt confident that their front five could block the front four for Texas Southern. First play of the game, sack Texas Southern.
And again, Alabama State taking its time getting the plays off here in the early going. Dominguez, quarterback draw, and he may have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage. Jay, you mentioned that great Texas Southern defense. It starts up front. Coaches told us that first line of defense, the D-line, is the strength of that defense. They're also very skilled with their linebackers. They have DeJuan Fulgham in the middle. He's got more than 90 tackles, 9 sacks, very quick linebackers who are almost hybrid safety types, and then a secondary that's pretty good as well. They're second only to Alabama State in interceptions in the SWAC. Third down and long coming up for Dominguez and this Hornet offense.
Third down 11 coming up for the Hornets.
Dominguez throwing long, and he overshot his intended receiver, Charles Payne. So fourth down, and Anthony Spate in the punting unit coming on.
Got to be a very disappointing first series for Alabama State. You come in and you know you have trouble on first and second down. Their first third down attempt of the game, 3rd and 11 yards. They couldn't convert. They've got to get this offense in a more manageable first down. It's going to be a long afternoon for the Hornets.
William Osborne is the deep return man for Texas Southern, as Alabama State is ready to kick it away.
Anthony Spate to punt.
Osborne lets it bounce at the 35, and Alabama State will down it inside the 30, now inside the 25 at about the 23-yard line. A 48-yard punt. And it'll be Texas Southern's turn on offense, and it's Rico Small running this offense instead of Arvell Nelson. For more on the QB situation, let's go down to Charlie.
Well, one of the things when I talked to Athletic Director Charles McClellan before the game, and he specified that Arvell Nelson is not academically ineligible. In fact, he said he's been eligible all season long. That the issue is specific to this particular game, and he would like to err on the side of caution, and he'll have more on the Arvell Nelson situation after the game. Anish?
All right, thank you, Charlie. On first down, it looks like they're going to let Smalls roll out and throw, or he'll just keep it, and he gets out of bounds after a gain of about 3. Marcus Wright makes this offense go. He's the tailback, 6 straight 100-yard rushing games. He could very well set the school single-season record for rushing yards in a season by the end of this game. And up front, they have an offensive line that's known as the Brick Wall Society, anchored by left tackle Charles Smith, a 5th-year senior.
2nd and 7.
On second down, this is Wright, and he gets across the 25 to about the 26, gain of 5 yards. It'll bring up 3rd and short. Let's meet this Alabama State defense. Up front, Jimmy Daniels, he's got 5 sacks. Kinjay Cotton, the other end, also with 5 sacks. They're very good in their linebacking core. Nigel Carr, he's a transfer from Florida State. The defensive coordinator calls him good crazy, and again, that secondary leads the SWAC in interceptions. Smalls to throw on 3rd down under pressure, but he's got some room. Across the 45 and out of bounds. It's a Texas Southern first down, a gain of 20 yards. Finally forced out by Kewan Riley.
Yeah, too much attention was paid to the 3 wide receiver set on the left side of your screen, so you're going to see him just take off. Crossing routes there, nobody there to account for the quarterback. Good athleticism by Small, so good job. You see the ability right there to run the football. Disappointing for Alabama State. You got to think you've got the backup quarterback that's playing. You want to see if he can beat you with his arm first rather than giving him an easy first down conversion by running the football.
On the ground here on first down, this is Wright, and he stumbles across midfield. Gain of 5, it'll bring up second down. To go back to the quarterback, Rico Smalls, here's a kid who went to University of Virginia initially, redshirted in 2008, didn't play last year, and was not going to play behind Mark Verica this year. Decided to transfer and join Johnny Cole here at Texas Southern. Another run here on second down. There's Wright. And he gets down close to the 25-yard line. 22 yards on the play.
All right, take a look right here in the middle. Number 70, the left tackle there, Matt Hardrick. Watch this seal block here. You talk about setting up a zone to walk through. He goes and gets the 2 guys wide open running lane for Marcus Wright. That's great offensive running football by the Texas
flag on the play.
Tigers.
Rod Holloway, the head referee.
False start, snap infraction. Number 60 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remain first down.
Yeah, right away, I think you see the difference in the game plans, what they're trying to do. Alabama State, very methodical, trying to slow down the tempo for the game. Snapping the ball with 5 seconds left. Texas Southern trying to step on the gas pedal, get up to the line of scrimmage and snap the ball quickly to wear them down.
This is Martin Gilbert up the middle, and he gets to the 25. Again, about 6 yards on the play. It'll bring up second and 9.
And that lets you know the offensive philosophy for Texas Southern. They want to run the football first. You get a penalty on first down, makes it 1st and 15. So often we see teams come out and throw right away. But when you've got an offensive line that you call the brick wall, if you can run and pick up 6 yards running the football, run the football.
Game of 6, 2nd and 9.
And somebody moved on that offensive line for Texas Southern.
False start. Number 70 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remain second down.
Texas Southern averages 104 penalty yards per game. That's the most in the SWAC. That's sort of the one weakness on this Tiger football team.
Yeah, they're winning in spite of doing self-inflicted damage to themselves. And I think that last penalty might have been the first indication of missing your starting quarterback in there. You've got a backup in there. Cadence sounds a little different. You lose the timing and the rhythm.
On 2nd and 14, Smalls to throw, and he completes over the middle to Richard Samuel, the junior. Solid pickup, 13 yards on the play, and it'll bring up 3rd and short.
Yeah, you see there, they had the timing wasn't down there. Only the quarterback was ready for the ball there. Offensive line wasn't ready there, but you see here, first time throwing the ball, steps up, simple pop pass right over the middle of the formation. Easy read for the quarterback to make. Good play calling.
You got to remember, Rico Smalls came into this game having thrown only 17 passes the entire season. Hadn't thrown more than 5 in a game. That's right, and he's got a first down. Maurice Tate on the stop for Alabama State, but a solid drive here for Texas Southern on its first possession.
When you talk about Rico Smalls not having the ability to throw the football, not getting much game time experience, well, he just transferred in the fall.
Right.
You know, normally you transfer in the spring, you learn the offense in the spring, compete in the fall. Well, he just got there in the fall, so he's only been with this football program for 3 months.
Another run play. This is Smalls, made one guy miss, trying to get to the outside. Now back across the middle, and he's inside the 10. Well, Baryshnikov and Rico Smalls.
Smalls on the carry.
He does a good job of making the initial read. The hole closes down on him quickly. He should have stayed there, but no. A little hip move, dip in, get outside.
Dancing shoes.
And then learn the second time around to square those shoulders up. And then get low with the football. Good run there by Rico Small.
This is the 10th play of the drive. So far, 8 rushing plays, 1 pass play. On the ground again. This is Wright, and he appears to have another Texas Southern first down. Probably brought down by the corner, Donovan Massline.
You know, running the football, anytime you got a fullback that's a good lead blocker, then you can get something done. Take a look there. He's going to come across formation, go in motion, and get the seal block right here on the outside. He just follows that hip. Easy pickup there for the first down.
Alabama State went 3 and out on its first drive, but Texas Southern now in the red zone. It's 1st and goal. Martin Gilbert, the deep back in the eye, and it's Gilbert pushing forward, but met by a number of white jerseys. 2nd and goal coming up.
Now this is one of the times where Alabama State, we were wondering what were they going to do to try and force Texas Southern to throw the football. Well, now you get in the red zone. They can bring in that extra guy into the box, crowd the line of scrimmage, make it tougher to run the football. Now's the time if you're Texas Southern, and offensive coordinator Johnny Cole, who's also the head coach, to set him up with the play action pass. Make him think you come with a hard run. You've got a quarterback that can run on the perimeter. And they're wide open for play action. Look how crowded that box is. Look at all these guys right here in the box.
Yeah, they started with a wishbone setup. This is Gilbert right up the middle. Touchdown, Texas Southern. Tigers on the board first.
You know, you talk about having a dominant offensive line where you can crowd as many bodies in there if you want to. If I get a hat on a hat, we can just push you around and get the white jerseys going backwards. We can get to the end zone. Good power running by the Tiger offense.
So Texas Southern jumps out to the early lead, 6-0, pending the point after. Johnny Cole's team going 12 plays, 82 yards in 5 minutes and 36 seconds. It's a Martin Gilbert touchdown capping the drive. Point after by Robert Hirsch is good, but there is a flag on the play.
After the snap, false start. Number 15 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remain the point after attempt.
So that's a false start on the kicker. You don't see that too often.
Well, he started going forward, but I thought he stopped. You know, you can go forward as long as you stop and reestablish position there. But look at Johnny Cole. Good job there. You know, he's a former quarterback. He's a head coach at his alma mater.
He was a very good quarterback at Texas Southern in the 80s.
So he knows a little something about the quarterback position.
All right, so Hirsch will try it again, this time from 5 yards back. And he missed it. So this could be interesting perhaps down the road. A missed extra point. 3 penalties on that opening drive for Texas Southern. It cost him a point, but Martin Gilbert made sure they got 6.
Is your computer running slowly? Thinking about buying a new one? Don't waste your money. Your computer could be infected with spyware, malware, viruses, or
ESPN's College Football is presented by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
You're looking at famous Rickwood Field here in Birmingham, Alabama. A baseball stadium that hosted some of the all-time greats. And meanwhile, here at Legion Field, which is historic in its own right, it's 7-0, or I should say 6-0 Texas Southern. They missed the point after. Martin Gilbert, a touchdown run, capping an 82-yard drive. Back deep for Alabama State, Charles Payne and Jaquez Rickerson. And this is Rickerson, but it's the short man who takes it instead, Donovan Massline, and he gets a nice little return and up across the 40-yard line, a 19-yard return. And the one thing Alabama State has here on its first 2 possessions, pretty decent starting field position. When these 2 teams played in the regular season, one of the reasons Texas Southern won was Alabama State was starting inside the 5-yard line, at the 2-yard line, inside its own 20. on seemingly every possession.
Yeah, that was why that was one of the keys in the lesson plan. You know, the defense can help out the offense, and in this case, it's been the special teams helping out the offense, giving them good field position to start on. But it comes down to the offensive portion of the lesson plan. What are they going to do on first and second down? That's the key. So as they come out from the sideline on first down, let's see what type of positive yards they can pick up on their first down play.
Alabama State went 3 and out, first time out. Toss play to Andrew Pitts. He gets a nice run using the stiff arm, getting close to midfield, 7 yards. Pushed out of bounds by Curtis Thomas. These two teams played back in October, and Texas Southern won 21-7. It was actually a pretty close game. It was a 7-7 game with about 5 minutes left. Texas Southern then scored a touchdown and returned an interception for a touchdown. But really, Alabama State's offense, how about this, Jake? 149 yards of total offense, just 53 in the second half. And their quarterbacks, they completed 3 passes and completed 4 to the other team.
I was being dominated by the opposing defense, and you got to face that same defense again. So hopefully they've game planned and schematically figured out a couple of ways to move the football.
Alabama State.
Alabama State with a timeout.
Timeout.
So on second down, the Hornets and Reggie Barlow want to talk things over. And again, going back to that first meeting, offensively, the Hornets just couldn't muster anything. And Reggie Barlow used 3 quarterbacks in that game. He used everybody he had. He used Devin Dominguez, he used Demetric Price, and he also used Rashard Burkett. All 3 of them threw at least 1 interception.
When we asked, what are you going to do differently? They said, well, we're going to simplify the offense. I thought that was odd. I thought you maybe want to expand the offense, but they thought maybe their quarterbacks were overthinking in that game, might have been over-prepared. So this time they tried to simplify.
A reminder, from 1981 to 1984, the SMU Mustangs owned the best record in college football. But in 1987, the school and the sport were rocked as the NCAA handed out the death penalty on a college football program for the first and only time in its history. Tonight at 9 Eastern, it's the Pony Excess on ESPN, part of ESPN Films' critically acclaimed 30 for 30, presented by Cadillac. On second down, Pitts, and he's wrapped up right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe he got a yard. It'll bring up another 3rd and long. And one thing that, or I should say it'll bring up a 3rd and short. One thing that this Texas Southern team has is that defensive line. And the coaches told us about that. They're so good at just getting to the ball real quick. And when you have a D-line that creates that much pressure, what happens with the rest of the defense? Explain that.
Yeah, I mean, everybody looks good. I mean, that's why you've got a middle linebacker that's been the defensive player of the year in the conference. We talk about Dewan Fulton. So, you know, they play well. They're sound fundamentally, and it all starts with the front 4, very similar to like the New York Giants. When they're playing their best football, Justin Tuck, Yura, they're attacking.
Crowd in the box here on 3rd down. Little option play. Dominguez keeps it, and he's got a first down. Shamari Clemens falling down, but not after a 4-yard pickup.
You see how much work it took just to pick up these 2 yards they needed. They had 2 plays to get 2 yards, and they had to use it. You see the option down the line of scrimmage, in-man the line of scrimmage. And Shamari Clemens was there, just missed making that tackle short of the first down. But, you know, that's what the sign of a good defense is. You know, you make one guy miss, but there's some other jerseys there around you. Just take a look at the black jerseys, penetrate the line of scrimmage, and see how they control line of scrimmage with the penetration they get on this snap. Just watch how much penetration you see the black line get over on the white offensive line.
Dominguez to throw here on first down, going deep down the far sideline, and it's incomplete. Charles Payne tried to go up and get it with one hand. But good coverage there by Zach Gallo.
This time they did a good job of protecting the pocket. Nice pocket here for Dominguez to set up and make his throw. Coming off the play action pass, good crisp pocket. Just doesn't throw it out there enough. Good job of trying to make the readjustment. Couldn't come down with that catch. Not a big fan of going up with one hand to catch the ball. If you can jump with one, why can't you jump with 2 hands?
Spoken like a quarterback. Second and 10. Tim Clark into the game at running back for Alabama State. It's Nick Andrews in motion. Dominguez under pressure. Screen pass. That's not going to get him anything. It was Clark who made the catch, but that's a loss of about 2 yards on the play. 3rd and long. And one of the things this D-line does and this defense does, well, they put defenses, or I should say they put offenses in a lot of 2nd and long and 3rd and long situations. That makes you predictable.
It does. I mean, right away, you had a good look there. Marquise Jackson, a good-looking defensive end, transferred from the University of Southern California. But when you've got an offense that's just playing on their heels and 3rd and 10 they've had 3 possessions. This is the second time they've had third plus 10 yards. And the chances of converting on these third down attempts just go way down. So really putting yourself in a hole.
Dominguez, his pass is tipped and it goes incomplete. 4th down coming up. Marquise Jackson, there he is. The Southern Cal transfer getting his mitts on it.
That's what you do. If you can't get to the quarterback and they seem to stop you, once you see the quarterback release, you jump up in the air and you see it right there, the middle penetration. Jonathan Hollins doing a good job getting his hands on the ball. Well-coached defensive unit.
Anthony Spade on for his second punt. He had 9 punts when these two teams played in October. William Osborne signals for a fair catch at the 15. So Alabama State struggling to move the football. They're down 6-0 in the SWAC championship here in Birmingham.
Hi, I'm Howard Dvorkin, the founder of Consolidated Credit. For almost 2 decades, Consolidated Credit.
6-0 our score here in Birmingham in the SWAC championship game. Texas Southern over Alabama State. Texas Southern is founded in 1927 and is one of 4 independent public universities in the state of Texas. In fact, it has over 11,000 students enrolled in the university. And the football team will get a brand new stadium starting with the 2012 season. They'll share the 22,000-seat facility located just east of downtown with the Houston Dynamo's soccer team. Construction should begin as early as next month. Now let's back upstairs to Anish and Jay. Gentlemen.
All right, thank you, Charlie. It's 6-0 Texas Southern. The Tigers scored on their first drive. Martin Gilbert, a touchdown run. Rico Smalls, the quarterback, empty backfield, and Smalls will take it himself. He gets to about the 26-yard line, and let's go back to Charlie.
Well, checking out notable alumni from Texas Southern, we start with Barbara Jordan, the first African-American elected to the Texas Senate and the first Southern black woman elected to the House of Representatives, and Grammy Award-winning gospel singer Yolanda Adams, who was a school teacher and model before embarking on a singing career, and Michael Strahan, who played his entire 15-year NFL career with the New York Giants, while at Texas Southern, a 2-time SWAC Defensive Player of the Year. Anish?
On second down, Smalls little play action, and he nearly threw it to the wrong team. Donovan Massline dove for the pick, but an incomplete pass. Nigel Carr applying the quarterback pressure.
And this is one where they finally go with the rollout pass, and let's see if Smalls can beat you with his arm. Pass right here. Ball just got away from him. Had they been able to come up with that interception, could have been a game-changing opportunity, but it was a miss by the Hornet defense.
It's a 3rd and 3. Let's see if Alabama State can get a stop here. On the ground, this is Wright. He's wrapped up, but not after he picks up a first down. So Texas Southern moves the change. DeMarcus Taylor made the stop. Taylor played his high school ball in Jacksonville, and you got to remember, Reggie Barlow played a long time with the Jaguars and has a lot of ties to that area. And in fact, he and Keenan McCardell, a former teammate of his, they used to go to high school games on Friday, and that's how we developed those relations and with the high school coaches and started mining Jacksonville for area recruits. As Wright on first down picks up 4, 2nd and 6.
Well, for those fans at home watching, and normally you think of Johnny Cole and the success he had at Alabama State when he was a coach there, as well as at Tennessee State. They had the big play offense.
The
hobo offense. What is it? High octane.
Big play offense.
But give credit to the coaching staff making the adjustment of coaching to the personnel that you have and realizing I've got a defense that can win a championship. Offense isn't up to their level. Let me get out the way and run the football. And he's ground Chuck all day long, isn't he?
I don't like what Steve Spurrier is doing this year at South Carolina. Pretty good defense, and they got a stud running back in Marcus Lattimore. Smalls throws it to Joe Anderson, broke one tackle, and then gobbled up at about the 30-yard line. They might give him forward progress here.
Now, on this upcoming 3rd down play, what I'm going to do now, the last 2 pass attempts we've seen from Rico Smalls, they've been high. So he's not comfortable throwing the football yet. Crowd the line of scrimmage, make him beat you man-to-man. Make him beat you,
Well, we've seen Texas Southern do that to Alabama State already. They're crowding the line, one-on-one on the outside.
Yeah, and as a quarterback, there's less room for error when you have man-to-man coverage, because if you miss, it can be an interception. But Alabama State insisted on playing zone coverage and not coming after the quarterback and letting him run the football.
This is Wright on 3rd down. He's got nowhere to go. So the Hornets come up with a stop Draquay Everett. Number 94 made the tackle in the backfield, and it'll be 4th down, so Texas Southern forced to punt for the first time, and we get to see Francois Ejiofor. And if you ask the coaches on both sides, he was the MVP, the punter, the first 2 times these 2 teams played.
That was when he had the ability to do some angle kicking or directional punting, but when you're backed up inside your own 20-yard line, you got to give it all the leg you can and see if you can change the battlefield position by just booming one.
Jaquez Rickerson back deep, and Ejiofor gets this one to about the 27. Here's Rickerson. He's got some big playability, and he's spun down at the 40-yard line. Alabama State, they punted on their first 2 possessions. We'll see what they can do the 3rd time. 6-0 here in Birmingham.
6-0 our score. Texas Southern over Alabama State. We talk about Alabama State. It was a school that was founded in 1875. In fact, it was the first state-supported school for blacks. Its urban campus is located in the capital city of Montgomery, Alabama, and has an enrollment of over 5,000 students. And notable alumni include R&B singer Clarence Carter, along with comedian Ricky Smiley and civil rights leader Ralph David Abernathy. And you talk about, as you look at Ricky Smiley there, Jay, you wondered before about Clarence Carter, what songs he sang. Of course, you got to remember Patches, Stroking, Slipping Away, and Too Weak to Fight. You're too young to remember all those things, though, right?
If I'm too young to remember it, imagine a niche.
On 1st down, this is Quindarius McKibben. He got a little bit of daylight and gets to midfield. All right, Charlie, what else you got for us?
Alabama State has several former players who made their mark in the NFL, including Vikings quarterback Tavares Jackson, who threw for over 7,000 yards and 63 touchdowns as a Hornet. ESPNU analyst Eddie Robinson, who played 11 years in the NFL and started at linebacker for the Titans in Super Bowl 34. And current Alabama State head coach Reggie Barlow, who played 8 years as a wide receiver, as you mentioned earlier, Anish, in the NFL, earning a Super Bowl ring with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Super Bowl 37.
I was with John Gruden, a guy who Reggie Barlow calls one of the coaches that he looks up to the most. This is Andrew Pitts. Flag on the play as Pitts goes down at the 49-yard line.
So, Charlie, I'm old school. See, when I went to Alabama State, we know about Jackson and Barlow, those guys. Give me some stories like on Ricky Jones. You know, quarterback that led them to that 11-0-1 season when they won the SWAC title.
See, you remember those things. That's not old school. That's not that long ago. That's in your era.
It's going to be against Alabama State. There's also an injured player on the field right now, and that's Shamari Clemens, junior out of West Monroe, Louisiana.
Holding. 33, offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 1st down.
Penalties on Andrew Tate. He's the fullback, but it looks like it's Clemens' left knee that they're attending to, and he's a big part of what this Texas Southern defense likes to do. 7.5 sacks, 2 interceptions. Gives him great speed at that linebacking position, and Johnny Cole looking over Shamari Clemens. Already, remember, Texas Southern playing without its starting quarterback, Avril Nelson. He's being held out of the game. School saying it's issues that could affect his ability to participate. Really haven't got any specifics on it, but he's not playing. And Shamari Clemens, again, a big part of that great linebacking core that Texas Southern has.
Did you like the way that Coach Cole addressed that with the team? You know, in the pregame speech when he was there and was talking to the team and said, you know, we're not leaving one man behind, and then took off his jersey and had the Nelson jersey on.
Yeah.
I mean, that was hot. I mean, this is what we're talking about. This is how you get the kids motivated behind you.
This was before the game, and
we're not leaving any man behind.
No, and that number 8, yeah, that belongs to Mr. Nelson. And you gotta remember Nelson, a kid who transferred from Iowa, went the junior college route, and you know, Johnny Cole described him as an athlete playing quarterback, not necessarily a quarterback first. He put the emphasis on athlete. But so far, Rico Smalls has looked good. Right now, though, it's Devin Dominguez in Alabama State. 1st and 20. Dominguez throws, and it's intercepted. Zach Gallo down the sideline, breaks one tackle, and finally dropped at the 11-yard line. a 35-yard return. And boy, you saw that coming as soon as Dominguez got rid of the football.
Yeah, just jumped the route there. You know, one-to-one coverage. And if you're going to miss a pass on the outside, then you've got to miss it on the outside. You can't miss it on the inside where the defensive back was just sitting there waiting. Wide receiver had no chance of coming back and making a play, disrupting that ball. Just keyed it all the way there. Once he goes and throws and he misses that pass, jumps all over. Defensive back squatting. You got to tuck that ball in there. You can throw the ball in the dirt or throw it high and just chalk it up, but can't afford to turn the football over.
That was Gallo's 5th interception of the season, and now it's 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line for Texas Southern. This is Marcus Wright up the gut to the 6-yard line, 5 yards on the play before Brandon Roberts, a JUCO transfer, brought him down. Turnovers were a big problem for Alabama State when these two played back in October. They committed 5 of them. Right again on 2nd down, and he's close to a 1st down.
Right to ball carrier.
And if it is a 1st down, it would be 1st and goal, but looks like he may have been marked just short. So 3rd and about a yard coming up.
Yeah, they're wasting no time to get to the line of scrimmage and calling plays in a hurry.
And I'm not sure they got the play off, but so far no signal. Marcus Wright close to the end zone. He may have lost the football.
They stripped him. Now, what a great lift this would be for the Hornet defense.
For a second, it looked like they wouldn't get the playoff. There really was no hurry. You could have just gone to the 2nd quarter. At least from where we are, it looked like the clock was past 0, but they call the play off, and it looks like this play will stand. Let's take another look at what happens.
And so often we see running backs turn the ball over in the 2nd effort, turns his back to the defense, gets turned around. Oh, that ball's clean.
End of the 1st quarter.
Wow, how did they not come up with it? It looks like you saw big number 60, the center, Quinn Cross, go in there and just wrestle that ball away.
So it'll be 1st and goal, Texas Southern, while we come back for the 2nd quarter here in the SWAC championship.
The high.
1st down.
The ruling was that Texas Southern fumbled the football but recovered at the 1-yard line, so it's 1st and goal. What looked to be a little suspect from our vantage point was it looked like time had run out. The 1st quarter looked to have been over before Texas Southern ever called the play.
And you know, it was one of those bang-bang plays. I don't know if the other coaching staff or the officials were aware of that. If they were, they would have blown the whistle and the play would have been dead right away. But good job by the offensive line for Texas Southern. Locate the ball on the ground, fall on it, and just start pulling and pull away. And they saved a potential touchdown scoring drive.
At least on our monitor, it looked like we were at 0-0 when the ball was snapped. Instead, it's 1st and goal. Rico Smalls trying to push his way forward, and he may have lost the football.
But, see, I didn't hear a whistle for forward progress.
Looks like they are going to whistle him down, though. It's not going to be a fumble.
You know, let's keep in mind, although for the SWAC championship they do have the ability to use replay, these officials aren't used to having replay during the regular season.
Second and goal.
It was ruled that progress has stopped. The ball will be spotted at the half-yard line. 2nd down.
See, as we take a look here, quarterback sneak going to be nowhere to go. He's turning.
Alabama State has called their 2nd charge timeout.
So Reggie Barlow wants to talk with his defense. 2nd and goal will be coming up for Texas Southern. Texas Southern with a 6-0 lead. They scored on their opening drive. Touchdown run by Martin Gilbert. Punted on their 2nd drive, and then after an interception, that gave them great field position here on their 3rd drive, and then things got a little dicey toward the end of the 1st quarter. Let's look at the last play of the 1st quarter. Watch the clock. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Now we're at 0. And then the ball snapped. And yet this play counted. ball was fumbled. Alabama State, though, didn't recover. Texas Southern jumped on it, so they maintained possession and then picked up a first down in the process, made it 1st and goal. And now here we are, 2nd and goal after Rico Smalls failed to punch it in on the last play. Make sense?
Somewhere down the board it will. Not right now.
Another run right up the middle. And Alabama State is saying this ball is fumbled. Man alive. And it looks like the Hornets have it.
Now, it looked to me like his knee was down. Now, this looks like his knee is clearly down, and the ball comes out on the first look.
Let's take another look. This is Marcus Wright. He never had it. He never had it.
Wow.
DeMarcus Taylor recovered the fumble for Alabama State. So a missed opportunity there for Texas Southern. An interception by Zach Gallo gave him great field position, but then Alabama State coughs it up at the goal line.
Nobody really likes to travel that much for work.
5-hour plane travel followed by maybe a hotel room.
What things were you going to have to get done at home, you know, with your family?
Boyd J. Walker and Charlie Neal and East Schroff here in Birmingham, Alabama. It's the SWAC championship. Both schools here have exchanged turnovers in the last few minutes. Right now it's Alabama State football. They've got it at the shadow of their own end zone. Let's take a look at what happened on the previous play when Texas Southern coughed it up.
Yeah, just poor exchange. You got to put this ball in the gut of the running back, not the shoulder pass. He had a high shoulder pad exchange. Running back can't get his hands up. You're taught to put it in that stomach where you almost hit a running back go when he has it.
The ruling on the field is confirmed.
That's what I think we saw Coach Johnny Cole talking to his young quarterback about, hey, you got to know where to put that ball in. And he just seemed confused and had a high handoff and costly turnover.
When we talked to Johnny Cole, he said time of possession, ability to run the football solid D, but can't turn it over. Those were the keys. And you look at that stat, 36 turnovers, most in the SWAC this season. Darius McKibben from his own end zone. 2 points for Texas Southern, a safety.
Not even close. I counted 5 black uniforms in the end zone behind the line of scrimmage to bring the safety. I mean, look at the penetration. Wow, look at the black jerseys you see. You could have 7 guys across the line of scrimmage. What poor offensive line play. I mean, he didn't just get tackled by 1. He got tackled by 2. You let 1 defensive lineman get penetration, and that was, of course, Marquise Jackson.
And then the great linebacker, DeWan Fulgham,
in behind him. Those are the 2 best players on the Texas Southern defense. You got to account for those guys.
So Alabama State, a safety, trying to run it out, looking for some breathing room, and it's 8-0 Texas Southern. Texas Southern's defense coming up with 2 points after their offense failed to capitalize on a goal line situation.
In a championship game, you know, those are things that good teams just do that normally. They're fundamentally sound.
Let's go back to that scenario, though. You've got, you know, a first down at about your own 1 or 2 yard line. Neither of these teams really have that much faith in their quarterback throwing the football. So if you're Texas Southern, I mean, a lot of that was they've got to run it here, right?
Yeah, you know that. But then as the offensive line on the other side, you got to say, hey, we got to buckle it up. We've got to scrap it up, get off the line of scrimmage, and get some more yards so we can at least have an attempt at a punt, not risking a punt block. But that offensive line there just did nothing. Got to be very disappointing for Reggie Barlow's staff.
Richard Samuel and William Osborne. And this is Osborne running around at his own 30-yard line, and I'm not sure which way he's going, but it's certainly not forward. Play was whistled dead. Negative yardage on that return. Meanwhile, on ESPN, it's Monday Night Football this week. Ray Lewis and the Ravens against Andre Johnson and the Houston Texans. 8:30 Eastern on ESPN. Coverage starts at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown served by Applebee.
Speaking of the Baltimore Ravens, you know, I always say, you've heard me all season, same things make you laugh, make you cry. Well, the first time they played Pittsburgh, they went and stole one from the Steelers this past week. Steelers came back into Baltimore and stole one from the Ravens when I thought the Ravens clearly outplayed them. What a good football game it was.
Baltimore, one of the front runners in the AFC, and it looks to be a wide open NFL this year. And that's Deshaun Daniels, solid run on first down. It's going to be 2nd and 1. We saw Shamari Clemens go down a little while ago. Charlie Neal has an update. Charlie?
Well, talking to the team physician and the team trainers, and they were saying that it looks like there's some ligament damage. They're going to reevaluate him at halftime and then make a determination on whether he'll be able to play again. But he looks like he's in a lot of pain over there on the sideline.
That's not a good sign for Texas Southern. This is Rico Smalls, tripped up after he got past the 40. Nigel Carr was the one who slowed him down. And there you see Shamari Clemens being worked on, that knee heavily iced. And he's one of the leaders in that linebacking core.
And normally when you see the ice come out, that means your day is done.
Yeah.
And right now you see
1-2.
Texas Southern spreading out Alabama State.
Flag on the play, though.
Illegal substitution on the defense. More than 11 men in the formation. 5-yard penalty. Remain first down.
So 1st and 10 becomes 1st and 5. And Jay, so far, 1 quarter plus of Rico Smalls. What do you make of the kid who transferred from Virginia, starting in place of Arvell Nelson?
I mean, he's a gamer, very athletic and tough. You know, he's got that spark about him. You know, haven't had a chance to judge him as a passer, but hey, if they're not forcing him to throw the football, he's doing what is needed to give his chance an opportunity of success to win this football game.
Marcus Wright across midfield and very close to a Texas Southern first down.
You know, he's shown the leadership needed for a quarterback to get him in and out of good plays, make good decisions, and running the dart or the quarterback option play there. So, you know, he's shown some experience. And anytime you play high school football in the state of Texas, you know you're used to playing in big games.
Yeah, Plano, Texas. That's where Rico Smalls hails from. This is Deshaun Daniels, and he is wrapped up. About 4 Alabama State defenders decided to give him a bear hug, but there is a flag that came in at the end of the play. It looks to be holding on the offense.
Holding. Number 70 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
That's Matt Hardrick. Earlier we saw him doing a good job of sealing on the right side. And take a look at Hardrick here. You can see him right here on the top of your screen, getting outside. And once you're trying any type of pull action, hey, the official's going to see it. He just went in there with the wrong approach. Had his arms spread out wide. Running back ran away from him. He let go of it. I've seen worse. I've seen worse.
5 wide here, empty backfield on 2nd down and 12. Smalls, this is a design keeper across midfield, hurls the defender, and he gets down inside the 35-yard line. Rico Smalls with a nice burst of speed, 26 yards on the play, and it's a Texas Southern first down.
Right here again, Matt Hardrick got called for holding on the first play. We'll take a look at this block right here. You talk about a kick-out block. Ooh. Gets hold of him there, gets engaged
Watch
there.
the hurdle.
And then the leap right there to keep going.
Right over Donovan Massline. I mean, Massline's only 5'8", 160, but that's still impressive. This is Daniels straight up the gut. And he gets to about the 31, 3 yards on the play. Make it Marcus Wright on the carry.
And Alabama State just has not figured out the run game that Texas Southern is using on them. I mean, that last play there, the quarterback, who's responsible for outside contain on the quarterback? There was nobody out there once the seal block was made, so I don't see the front 7 of Alabama State playing as a cohesive unit. They just seem to be disorganized.
Power eye here on 2nd down. Again, they'll keep it on the ground. It's Wright. Puts his head down, gets to the 25, 7 yards. Former Florida State linebacker Nigel Carr made the stop for Alabama State. But Johnny Cole told us.
You called it power eye. You see power eye, follow the fullback. Randall Newsom right there, looking for somebody to hit. Boom. He goes in there, finds his man. You see power eye running football, follow the fullback, and you'll see a good block.
Well, we see another power eye here. Once again, they tried to follow the fullback, but this time the defense caught on.
They caught on, but there was a little collision there, wasn't there? I mean, that's football at its purest. You know, you got one lead blocker, one running back behind him, the old Oklahoma drill that you grow up doing when you're playing sandlot football or high school football. How do you shed the blocker, then make the tackle? They're playing power football.
Texas Southern really dominating so far in terms of total yards, and really not much of a surprise. I mean, there's no variety in this offense right now. 26 run plays, 3 pass plays. So, again, 4 wide receivers, they spread them out, but this could very well be a designed run. No, Smalls will throw. They mix it up. Maybe not. He's going to keep it. He gets out of bounds at the 11-yard line after a pickup of 13.
I mean, this is how you know you got a quarterback that doesn't want to throw the football. And that's fine. That's what you want. You know your limitations.
You're moving the ball and getting first downs, right?
Right now, what you're doing against a defense that, may confuse you if you're not comfortable in the passing game, you make it read simple. And this is the simplest read you can make, Anish. The guy's either wide open or I'm running it. And that's what he's doing.
How about Rico Smalls, Jay? 8 carries, 81 yards already. Now they come out with a little wishbone. Deshaun Daniels, a one-man miss, gets inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. And have a gain of about 3. Second down coming up.
And this Alabama State Hornet defense has been on the field for a long time. So, in the first half, although it's early in this football contest, they've been on the field the majority of this game. And once you get down here in the red zone, you start to show that wear and tear, and they start breathing heavy.
2 tight ends set. Daniels, the deep back. Smalls trying a little play action. He's under pressure, and he will not escape the pursuit. DeMarcus Taylor got to him. Taylor's had a nice game so far.
And that's how you have to play that outside linebacker position. Don't follow the football. Your job is to make sure nobody gets outside. That's how you play the outside contain. This is all DeMarcus Taylor right here. Nothing gets outside of him. So he's looking. Okay, nope, you're not getting outside of me. Fundamentally sound, have the athletic ability to bring down the quarterback. Now that's how you play organized team football.
Maybe a subtle thing on that last play, but something that the coaches for Texas Southern talked about with the normal starter, Avril Nelson. On a play like that, he might sometimes try to throw it away and maybe commit a turnover. Was that a heady play taking the sack by Rico Smalls?
No, he should have got rid of that one there, but
okay, maybe not.
They'll make up for it.
Well, we've got a timeout on the field. First one for Texas Southern. They'll have 3rd and long when we return.
Good switching.
ESPN's College Football, brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
8-0 our score here in Birmingham, Alabama, as you look at the Civil Rights Museum in downtown Birmingham. And the SWAC held its postseason awards voting, and Grambling running back Frank Warren, who led the conference in rushing with almost 1,600 yards, the offensive player of the year. DeJuan Fulgham is the defensive player of the year from Texas Southern. Jackson State quarterback Casey Terrio is the newcomer of the year. And Arkansas Pine Bluff linebacker Jerian Harris, who led the conference in tackles, the freshman of the year. And the coach of the year went to Johnny Cole of Texas Southern, who has his alma mater in the first ever championship game. All of the winners, with the exception of Frank Warren, back next year. Congratulations to all, and Texas Southern getting closer to that goal line.
Now they got 9 yards there on that 3rd and 18 play. That was Rico Smalls again, who's up to 90 yards rushing.
Did you see the progression in the read? Drop back, guy not wide open, I'm running. I mean,
that wasn't really much of a progression.
Nobody really flushed him out of the pocket. He just looks at nobody's wide open, I'm running the football.
Robert Hesh on for a 28-yard field goal attempt. He's 10 of 14 on the season, 9 of 12 inside 40 yards. Hesh from 28 yards splits the upright, and it is 11-0 Texas Southern. They've scored every which way possible except an extra point. Touchdown, safety, field goal. They missed an extra point, and here we are, 11-0. The Tigers leading as they seek their first SWAC championship since 1968. And we take this time to remind you that Sunday night it's ESPN's Bowl Mania special. We'll break down and rank all 35 bowl games to help viewers fill out their Bowl Mania game on ESPN.com. It's hosted by Kevin Negandhi with Ed Cunningham and Robert Smith at the set and Todd McShay on the big board. The Bowl Mania special presented by Chevrolet Cruise. It's this Sunday at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN. And tonight in Alabama, there's a bit of a buzz the entire state because we'll have their eyes on New York. Heisman Trophy presentation. Cam Newton. Seems anywhere you go in this state, is at the airport, getting food at the hotel, and boy, everyone's got it. Everyone's got an opinion on Cam Newton and what's going on with Auburn and his potential to win the Heisman Trophy tonight.
Now one thing that I'm surprised about is they're all united, though. I mean, even Alabama fans are pulling for Cam Newton. I thought there would be more discussion where he shouldn't get that. He's Auburn guy. This whole state is pulling for Cam Newton.
It's Charles Payne out to about the 33-yard line. Unlike the first meeting between these two schools, Alabama State has had good field position. They have just done nothing with the football. How about this, Jake? They've run 12 offensive plays for a grand total of 15 yards. I know Texas Southern has one of the best defenses in the nation. Number 2 in total defense, great against the pass, top 3 against the pass and the run. But 12 plays, 15 yards, yikes.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do? I mean, the last time he had the football, I mean, you threw an interception, so it was almost a pick 6. So, they've got you guessing, but this is where Coach Barlow said he's been tested all season long with this offense. Right when I get ready to give up on them, they come through and make a play. No better time than right now for Dominguez to get this offense going.
Dominguez leading the offense. It's a 5-wide set here on first down. Quick throwing, that's picked off. Antonio St. Rose, the linebacker, second interception for this Texas Southern defense. And St. Rose is the guy who's now playing because Shamari Clemens left the game with an injury.
Watch the penitentiary coming right up the gut there. That's big. Jonathan Hollins having a great game, and then the athleticism by St. Rose to get there and make the interception, keep it off the turf, come underneath that route.
That was Tim Clark who was the intended receiver, and Antonio St. Rose, his first interception of the season. If it holds, it looks like they're going to review the play.
Yeah,
they're going to take another look.
Yeah, it's coming back.
Might be a break for Devin Dominguez and Alabama State.
But going into that play when they lined up,
I'm not sure he has.
And you talked about them going with the 5 wide receiver set. The first thing I was looking for was, okay, they've got 5 wide receivers. Alabama State is spreading them out. Texas Southern, that 4-man line, got to the quarterback. Remember how confident they were that our 5 can block those 4? Well, it doesn't look like your 5 can block those 4 defensive linemen from Texas Southern.
They've got a terrific defensive coordinator, Texas Southern does, in Kevin Ramsey. Here's a guy with NFL experience. Was a DB coach for the Arizona Cardinals, coached at Tennessee, Georgia, Northwestern, Arizona State, Kansas State, West Virginia. And I like the name that they give to their defense, 212 degrees. 212 degrees is the temperature at which water boils. And the way the coaches like to say it, water boils at 212 degrees, you get steam, and steam can power a locomotive.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one. I mean, 212. 212.
Boiling point.
That's something that, Johnny Cole's always had these creative names for offenses, and the defense does a good job as well with that one. But I mean, they're good. They're as good as advertised. I mean, this front 4 can really cause havoc on you and get to the quarterback and get the hits.
And quarterbacks have struggled against this defense all season long. How about this? Opposing quarterbacks against Texas Southern this year, 11 touchdown passes, 18 interceptions. The first time that Texas Southern and Alabama State played, Alabama State quarterbacks, 3 of 16, 4 interceptions. 3 quarterbacks threw a pass for the Hornets. All 3 of them threw at least 1 interception.
Yeah, and they seem to be scared and timid about that offensive line. As a backup quarterback, if you see the starting quarterback getting hit often, then you just, going in there you're going to get hit often. But it seems like they were all playing scared.
After further ado, The receiver did not maintain control of the ball. The ball will be turned back over to Texas Southern. Alabama State, second down.
So they take an interception away from Antonio St. Rose, but it looks like they did get the call right.
And this is the pressure I'm talking about. This is just going to be a up the gut, just I'm better than you swim move by Hollins to get pressure on the quarterback to force what almost becomes an interception. You see he's trying to get rid of it quickly. They know it on the defensive side of the ball. That's something to look out for. It looks like early in this contest, the front five from Alabama State cannot block the front four, the black jerseys from Texas Southern.
Last 3 plays for Alabama State: near interception, a run out of the end zone that resulted in a safety, and before that, an interception.
And they're spreading them out again. You know, when you're spreading them out like this, you better be able to protect your quarterback.
Dominguez this time will keep it, but where's he going? Fulgham. He got into the backfield and blew up that play before it started.
I talked to one of my good friends, Henry Frazier, head coach at Prairie View A&M, and he said one thing you got to watch for with Texas Southern on defense, double A-gap blitz. They will bring Fulgham and another inside linebacker right up the middle of the defense and create havoc on you there. They brought the double A-gap blitz there, and the SWAC Defensive Player of the Year made the tackle for loss in the backfield.
He's the captain of the defense. His head coach calls him the most underrated linebacker in college football.
I don't know how underrated you are if you now to the Defensive Player of the Year in the conference. Oh,
that time Dominguez got rid of it and completes to T.C. McWilliams. And Alabama State, it looked like McWilliams was surprised. Hey, my quarterback found me, completed pass.
Fulgham didn't see it. You know, he was busy looking, making calls, and you're going to see somebody, look, he's turning around to look right there, and the receiver just ran right by him, and he caught onto the football and got the first down.
And McWilliams looked a little surprised when the ball got to him. It's been a struggle so far in the passing game for Alabama State. Dominguez under pressure here and sacked once again. Jonathan Hollins, as Texas Southern defense leads the nation in sacks, 42 entering today. And boy, the pressure is relentless. And here's the thing, they don't always blitz. We haven't seen a lot of blitzes today.
Not a lot of blitzes, just that double A-gap blitz when they really want to get to the quarterback, but the front four are getting it done there. So often, when you talk about great defenses, you know the guys that play defensive end get credit. But when you've got interior linemen that can play, that is the basis for having a good defense. And I'm thoroughly impressed with the play of nose tackle Jonathan Hollins along with Kingsley Akinwale on the inside.
Hollins is a kid who was highly recruited out of high school. Empty backfield, Dominguez throws over the middle, and Landon Jones can't hold on.
Wow.
That had a potential for some big things, but Landon Jones, the sophomore, dropped it.
You got to make this play. Look at Dominguez step up into the pocket, find a nice throwing lane, throws a strike, and the wide receiver doesn't come down with the catch. Landon Jones has to make that catch.
Devin Dominguez played quarterback in high school, won a state championship actually in Indiana, but came to Alabama State on a baseball scholarship. He's the closer on the school's baseball team. We hear he'll be moved to the starting rotation when the spring rolls around, but baseball is first love, and he was kind of a wide receiver tight end for a few years on this team, quarterbacking the Hornets this year. And that pass looked like somebody got a hand on it, and DeJuan Fulgham continues to create havoc. Fourth down now, and we get to see Anthony Spate again. He's been getting a lot of work, which was sort of the theme the first time these two teams played. Spate had 9 punts in the first meeting. It's too much work for a punter.
And Alabama State's had good field position, but they have not been able to pin Texas Southern back within their own 20-yard line. So let's see if they can get some good special teams and maybe pin back this Texas Southern defense, but they don't. I mean, you're kicking the ball from there. You should be able to pin the team within their own 20-yard line.
Texas Southern's defense continues to create havoc and get to Devin Dominguez. 11-0 Tigers.
Attention, if you...
Legion Field hosting the SWAC championship today. For years, about 40 years, Legion Field is where they used to play the Iron Bowl, Alabama and Auburn. And one of the reasons they call it the Iron Bowl, well, Birmingham, Alabama, the city that the game was played in, known to be a big steel and iron town, and hence the name to one of the great rivalries in all of college football.
Don't you think they should bring the game back here once every 4 years?
Yeah.
I mean, the home and home is great, but, you know, so much history here. You know, in the stadium, it helps out the city of Birmingham for economic development and growth.
No gain there on first down for Martin Gilbert. He scored the only touchdown of the game.
I mean, how much fun would it be if they moved Georgia, Florida home and home? It'd be good, but then you think, isn't that game great played on a neutral site?
Yeah.
I like neutral site games. And, the Red River rivalry, Texas and Oklahoma.
Now especially at Cowboy Stadium.
Yeah.
A yard, maybe. Brandon Roberts stopping Gilbert there, so it's third down.
And this is an opportunity for the Hornet defense. If they can come up with a 3-play and out, maybe that'll help jumpstart the offense. They've had trouble stopping this Tiger defense, so now they've got an opportunity. You got a quarterback, 3rd and 9. Don't let them beat you with your legs right now. I mean, that would be the key. Don't let them beat you with your legs. Put 2 spy linebackers on them and make them throw the football.
Rico Smalls, 90 yards rushing so far in this game. He has had a terrific first half running the football. We haven't seen a lot of pass plays. Smalls will pass here. Finds his receiver, Joe Anderson. There is a flag on the play, and where Anderson caught it was short of a first down regardless.
I think this is going to be holding.
Alabama State may decline, though.
Holding. Number 70 on offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
That was Matt Hardick again. 2nd time he's been flagged for holding.
You either love him or you hate him. You can't have it both ways. He's been very active on every play. When you play this right tackle position, I mean, he's looking at you. And, good move on the inside. Yeah, he hooked him around there. Easy to call.
So first 3 and out for Texas Southern. Alabama State. Try to do something here. Jaquez Rickerson back deep, and they nearly got Francois Ejiofor. There is a flag on the play. Rickerson trying to navigate through traffic, but he goes down at the 25-yard line. And boy, the difference here is running into a roughing, but it may not matter. It's going to be a first down anyway.
First down.
Running into the kicker. Number 7 on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Results of enforcement. First down.
And that's Saeed Lee called for running into the kicker. And yeah, when that kicker's vulnerable like that, can't come flying at him like that.
Yeah, and they leave that leg up there hanging in the air a little bit. It was his foot that got tangled that made him fall. He didn't touch him. His leg trailing him.
Reggie Barlow right now is on the field screaming at the officials. Reggie Barlow is livid.
They saw the replay on the Jumbotron, and the Alabama State Hornets sideline is booing.
Reggie Barlow has to be restrained by his coaches. He did not like that call, and boy, did that backfire, declining that holding penalty on 3rd down. Marcus Wright got maybe a yard. Another flag comes in from the back.
Yeah, you see the animation there on Barlow. I mean, very
I wonder
upset.
if Barlow was on the field for that play.
Holding. Number 65 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
That's Skylar Trimble, the senior from Davis High School in Yakima, Washington.
Well, he's got a penalty going his way. He's still upset, and this is the play that's got him so upset. You'll see Lee go for the block out of his way, but his right leg is hanging in the air in the wind. Questionable call, judgment call there, but ultimately you've got to protect that kicker. That zone is that kicker's pocket.
Option here. This is Daniels, and he loses the football. Alabama State looks to have recovered. The officials sorting through the rubble as we speak. Still no signal.
In the loose ball. The ball was covered while the player was out of bounds. The ball will be spotted back to the spot of loss. 2nd down.
And look at Reggie Barlow right now. Hands on the hips. He just can't believe it. This team just can't get a break.
Spotted out of bounds. Good job of coming in and making the strip by Jacoby Chapman. And on the recover, his legs were.
Yeah. Jaquez Rickerson recovered it, but again, he was out of bounds. And that was DeMarcus Taylor. Yeah, he's forced 2 fumbles now. He has had a terrific game. Yeah, his body, his legs clearly out of bounds. And again, Reggie Barlow still not done joining with the officials. Looked like he was asking for a timeout.
That's tough because that happened on the farthest sideline from him, so he couldn't see it. I'm pretty sure he's saying, hey, take a look at it, review it. He didn't see what was going on there. He just saw it was a clean strip, and the ball was in play for quite a while. But I think in this case here, the officials got it right.
Charlie told us earlier that Johnny Cole was the SWAC Coach of the Year. Reggie Barlow's up for the Eddie Robinson Award. That goes to the National Coach of the Year in the FCS.
The head coach of Alabama State has requested a timeout for instant review challenge. The previous play is under further review.
So they'll look at this last play again.
You see the ball there. It's out of play for a while and had a lot of momentum towards that sideline, but the moment Jaquez Rickerson picked it up, his right foot was back out of bounds.
Yeah.
And that right leg is out of bounds.
When he had possession of the football.
They had another teammate, had the number 34, Brandon Roberts, a middle linebacker, had an ability to sit on the football. He would have got it. He was inbound, but Rickerson recovered, and he was out of bounds clearly.
I think what's got to bug Reggie Barlow, too, is you're at a point in this game now where Alabama State has had the football for only about 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And even though Texas Southern may not score here, they're going to have a 2nd and long if the challenge doesn't go through, if the play is in reverse. But still, again, time of possession. It's more time that your defense is on the field. And that was an issue when they first played. The second half of the last game, Texas Southern had the ball for about 20 minutes. That was in the second half.
Yeah.
While they review the play, we can take some time to remind you that halftime is coming up here on ESPN Classic. It's the State Farm Halftime Report. We get a nice preview of the bowl season.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The Alabama State player was out of bounds when recovering the ball. Alabama State has been charged their 3rd timeout.
Yeah, and listen to the vocabulary, confirmed. That means basically that it wasn't even close. When they can confirm a play, that means they have evidence to suggest that, yes, they got it right the first time. Rico Smalls scrambling, and that one got to his receiver, but it got there on a bounce.
Yeah, and that just kind of confirms the theory. Keep him in the pocket, make him beat you with his arm, and you've got a chance of success if you're Alabama State defensively. But he's got fresh legs, he's got great athleticism, hasn't played that much this year, so he's playing at 100% health right now, when this time of year most people are probably playing at a 90% health range. So that's something there. He doesn't seem like he has the ability to beat you with his arms just yet, so you can become more aggressive on the defensive side of football.
He's made plays with his legs, and we've seen him do it out of this formation. They spread it out. Here's Smalls, makes one guy miss, but not for long. He goes down in the backfield. Jimmy Daniels, Maurice Tate got to him. It'll be 4th down with 2:50 and ticking.
Yeah, you think the coach staff from Texas Southern sees what we see? 3rd down, hey, run the football. You're not really comfortable in the passing game right now, and Alabama State was ready for the play, just swarming like Hornets do. That's what Hornets do, right? They swarm?
They swarm. Hornets swarm. Hornets swarm. Bees swarm. Mosquitoes swarm, unfortunately.
No, mosquitoes bite.
They bite. I've been in places where mosquitoes swarm. That's not exciting. This is Jaquez Rickerson. And he gets to about the 44-yard line. Looked like he had signaled for a fair catch there.
Yes.
All right, as we told you about, halftime coming up here on ESPN Classic. It's the State Farm Halftime Report, a preview of the early bowl games, plus the latest from New York. Tonight's the Heisman Trophy presentation. And I know Jay is looking forward to this. He gets to talk to Charles Arbuckle and rub it in.
Is he really?
The punt return, number 25, the return team, advanced the ball after signaling for a fair catch. Delay of game on the return team.
Is Charlie getting serenaded down there?
First down.
Charlie, you got quite the audience.
I've got company. They say they're the best drum line in the SWAC. This is Alabama State's band. They're going to perform at halftime, and they're going to, hey, they're very happy. They're all on camera. And
the mighty marching Hornets. Here's Dominguez. Little screen pass. Andrew Pitts. And Pitts dives out of bounds, but the clock is going to keep running here after a gain of 2 yards. Alabama State, remember, after that last challenge, they're out of timeouts.
I mean, how good is this Texas Southern defense? You try misdirection.
As advertised.
Got them fooled, and they not only have one defender there, they've got 2 defenders there playing sound fundamental defense.
Four wide here for Dominguez. He looks to run. Nothing. Guess who? Fulgham. Gain of maybe a yard. Actually, may have lost a yard, rather. That's DeJuan Fulgham.
Yeah, they tried to do a double move, and the safeties weren't biting. Curtis Thomas and Jerome Thomas. They just played back deep half, didn't fall for the double move, had it well covered, then allow Fulgham to come up and make the tackle.
Third down. Pressure again, this time from Jackson. Daniels. And he just gets out of bounds at the 42-yard line. Got 7 on the play, but it's going to bring up 4th down.
Now, just when they start beating you with fundamentally sound football, they do a zone blitz. And on the zone blitz, LaGrone Shields. Watch him right here. You see him there right there? He's just following the quarterback. He's playing spy on your quarterback, and he's a good enough athlete. He's coming back in the picture to make the tackle. Wow, they've got some athletes playing defense for TSU.
Shields 6'3", 270-pound junior out of Memphis, Tennessee, and Reggie Barlow's offense.
He was the spy, Anish. You don't have nose tackles play spy and then have the ability to make the tackle.
But they have linebackers that can cover slot receivers. They don't even sub out. William Osborne fields inside his own 15. He's got a little bit of daylight. Osborne across the 30-yard line. He may have lost the football.
He put it on the ground. How fortunate.
Texas Southern, the one thing we've seen so far, holding on to the football seems to be a pretty serious issue for them.
Yeah, they've put it on the turf several times, and they just got lucky bounces. 4 times they fumbled the football, and they've been able to cover every time.
All but one. And the one time they lost it resulted in safety because Alabama State was pinned so deep.
Yeah, look at this at the end of the play, trying to get that extra yardage. Ball just takes a lucky hop and goes right back into the belly of William Osborne, the return there.
With 46 seconds left in the half, what do you think we'll see, Jay?
Oh, they're going to run the ball. I mean, even though they're not going to throw, I mean, they're going to run because they've had success running the football. And the run,
they're not even going to run, Jay.
They're not even going to run. They've had enough.
Small's taking the knee, and they'll probably take one more, and that'll take us to halftime, and it's a first half dominated by this Texas Southern defense.
Yeah,
first drive of the game, they march downfield, they score a touchdown, and then their defense basically has done the rest. They've just put the shackles on Reggie Barlow's offense.
As much as they've dominated, to be only up by 11 points, though, you know, that's just a touchdown, 2-point conversion, and a field goal from being tied. So I'm sure Coach Cole has something to yell at his team about in the locker room. That's just what coaches like to do, is yell at players.
Only 36 total yards for Alabama State in the first half. And remember, Texas Southern doing all this with one of their top linebackers injured. Shamari Clemens has left the game, and the running back, or I should say the quarterback, Marvell Nelson, not playing due to some team issues. 11-0 is our halftime score. When we return, we'll go to the studio for a preview of some of this season's early bowl games, as well as a preview of tonight's Heisman Trophy presentation. All that and more coming up on the State Farm Halftime Report. That's right after these messages. 11-0, your score in the SWAC Championship here in Birmingham. Welcome back to the State Farm Halftime Report. It's the 2010 SWAC Championship here at Legion Field. 11-0 Texas Southern is your halftime score. Now, in sports, there's comebacks and then there's memorable comebacks. You remember the Red Sox down 3-0, winning 4 straight against the Yankees. You remember Frank Reich and the Bills AFC Championship game coming back against the Oilers. And then there's what Jay Walker pulled off against our very own Charles Arbuckle. To give you a little bit of context, every Thursday during your telecast at halftime, Jay and Charles would pick 10 college football games for that upcoming Saturday. You guys would assign confidence points to each game, right?
Some of us chose better than others.
Well, Charles had your number for most of the season, and it looked like Charles was going to win. Well, we have Charles on the phone right now, and part of the reason we have Charles on the phone is because the man next to me is not very humble.
Well, I mean, would you be? I mean, Buck, are you there? Did you really have the courage to show up on my game?
Yes, I did, because I'm gonna say it like this. You got that whole
belt away. Put the belt away for the second half. That's all.
Welcome back to Legion Field, Birmingham, Alabama. We're here for ESPN Classic College Football presented by McDonald's. It's the 2010 SWAC Football Championship, and we're getting ready for the second half. Texas Southern has been the story so far. They lead it 11-0. Charlie Neal, and we'll be continuing to bring you stories and what's happening around black college football here in the second half. Now let's go back upstairs to the guys calling the action, Jay and Anish. Gentlemen.
All right, thank you, Charlie. You can sum up the first half in one phrase: Texas Southern's defense. They held Alabama State to under 40 yards. The Hornets ran 2 plays in Tiger territory the entire first half. And then on the flip side of the ball, Texas Southern, they didn't really try to pass it, but they were very successful running the football with Marcus Wright and Rico Smalls at quarterback.
Yeah, and that's been the dilemma for Alabama State. How do you force Rico Smalls to throw the football? He clearly doesn't want to pass. He's just beating you with your legs, and he's a one-dimensional quarterback, but he's having tremendous success. Offensively, quarterback is 30%, 3 of 10. That's not going to get it done in a championship game going against a dominating defense.
And Texas Southern, they've been fortunate as well. They fumbled 4 times, only lost 1 fumble, and that 1 fumble they lost, it was right around the 1-yard line, and on the very next play when Alabama State recovered, it turned into a safety. But I mean, time of possession, I mean, that just jumps at you. 2-1.
That's getting dominated. You know, we've only had the ball for 9 minutes, but when you only have 36 yards total offense, you know, and you're so relying upon the big play, and give Texas Southern's defense credit, they're doing it on all facets of the game. The defensive line is playing great. They're playing disciplined. They're not giving up any big plays. They're making this Alabama State offense look abysmal.
And again, Texas Southern, it's been the ground game, 171 yards. They entered the game 14th in the FCS in rushing, averaging 212 yards a game. And really, when you look at the breakdown in the first half, Jay, Texas Southern ran 41 plays. 36 of those were running plays.
Yeah, run, and run some more. And I think in the second half, they're not going to get away from the game plan. They're going to continue to run the football.
Texas Southern brings it out to the 25-yard line, and that's where we will start here in the third quarter. And Jay, let's check on your lesson plan.
Well, what do you see that you normally don't see from Professor Jay?
I have not seen an F all season.
But do you think that they deserved an F? The Alabama State offense, I mean, tough game, championship game. You got 36 total yards in the first half, and you gave up a safety. You get an F. got to improve on that. I hate giving up Fs. The defense, you know, they've done a good job. Great field position for Alabama State. They've done that. Texas Southern, the offense, C-. Those 4 fumbles. They have to be careful, or else that can turn into a D. They've got to get it going. But defensively, they've been outstanding. Good as advertised. Dominguez is throwing at 30%. They've hit him. They've hurried him. They've frustrated him. Dominating performance by the Texas Southern defense.
I will say one thing about the F. Sometimes it's the student's fault. Sometimes you run into a hard teacher. And if that hard teacher is the Texas Southern defense, maybe you cut them a little slack.
And it's the midterm report. It's not the final grade, so they can improve upon that.
That's Marcus Wright on first down. That's a short gain. Wright in the first half, 16 carries, 72 yards. He's a guy that Johnny Cole told us gets stronger as the game goes on. And he's a guy with 6 straight 100-yard rushing games. He has really come on and given this offense a go-to guy the second half of the season.
And I like your reference earlier in the game when we were talking about South Carolina, how they made the adjustment to Lattimore. And the key is when you've got your most talented football players and running back, then you should be a running football team, and that's what they've been able to do. And when you've got a guy that gets stronger as the game goes on, he's a perfect recipe to go along with that outstanding, dominating defense they have.
Flag on the play here on 2nd and 8.
Dead ball. Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remain 2nd down.
Delay a game on Texas Southern, and let's go down to Charlie Neal.
Date on the player who was hurt in the first half, number 17 for Texas Southern. Just a bruised knee, no ligament damage, but he will not play here in the second half.
That player in question, Shamari Clemens, part of a 3-headed monster at linebacker for Texas Southern. So good news for Johnny Cole and the Tigers. Smalls to throw, throws in traffic. He's got Joe Anderson, and Anderson's got a first down at the 42-yard line, 21 yards on the play. So we didn't see a lot of that in the first half, but there's Smalls starting in place of Arvell Nelson, making a big play.
Yeah, I'll show you, Jay Walker. I'll ride out this pass and throw a perfect ball in a very small window. 4 Hornet defenders around the football. He found the one throwing lane in which he can complete the ball. Good play. I'll be quiet. I'll get off your Rico Smalls. That's how you shut up a broadcaster in the booth.
Marcus Wright eaten up right at the line of scrimmage. 2nd down.
Right away, I see one of the halftime adjustments for Alabama State is, early on they tried to defend the run with 6 guys in the box, maybe 7. Now there's 7 guys around the line of scrimmage at all times, and whenever possible, whenever they're not 4 wide receivers on the field, they're trying to get that 8th defender in the box.
And really, if Alabama State can get you to throw the ball, that plays into their strength. We haven't heard much from Kewan Riley and Jaquez Rickerson, but the strength of that team is its secondary. Smalls throws over the middle, tipped, and it's caught. Richard Samuel. Boy, that was nearly disastrous. Instead, it's an 8-yard gain.
Paying attention. He had a crossing route here. Poor decision where to go with the football. He's dropping back, looking, and has a lot of mustard on this ball here, and it gets tipped up in the air, almost intercepted by the Alabama State defender, but a great job of readjusting, coming back to the football.
Yeah, that was Joseph Warren, and not Richard Samuel who hauled that one in. It'll bring up 3rd down and 1 from midfield. Out of the power eye, that's right. And he goes up the middle to the 45-yard line. It's a first down, gain of 4 yards on the play.
And good teams that are competing for championships, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, no problem converting. Get a power running game, figure out how to wedge the ball in there and just run hard. You got a good running back in Marcus Wright who gets stronger as the game goes on. And once again, Texas Southern kind of imitating the recipe they used in the first half, running the football effectively, eating up that clock, and trying to wear down the Hornet defense.
On the ground again, that's the fullback, Randall Newsom. So they ran behind him so many times in that power eye. This time they let the fullback run, and Newsom gets 3.
Carl to stop.
This is the key right now. Once the team crosses midfield, you need your defense to rise to the occasion, make a stop, so they can try and hurry up and get their offense on the field.
Look at the disparity between the two teams running the football. The tight end, Kirk Fitzhugh, in motion. This is right. And he's taken down from behind. Nice tackle by Nigel Carr.
They've made some good adjustments defensively. Give credit to Alabama State defensive coordinator Cedric Thornton right now.
Yep.
Not as easy going for the Tiger offense as it was in the first half. Crowd the line of scrimmage, taking the running lanes, doing some stunts, and basically telling Texas Southern you're going to have to throw the football a couple times in the second half to protect that lead.
3rd and 5, you would say, passing down for most teams. You can't say that with certainty with Texas Southern.
Look at the DBs, crowd the line of scrimmage, getting right up in the face of the wide receivers, daring them to throw the football.
Yeah, 8 in the box, but Smalls is going to throw. Ball's tipped and incomplete. 4th down.
This could get interesting, Anish. If they can keep up that defensive intensity like that, you know, Texas Southern is showing they're not comfortable throwing the football, and Alabama State's trying to make this a passing game. This could be a very interesting second half and make Coach Cole get out of his comfort zone, which he may be doing right now.
When these two teams played back in October, a 21-7 Texas Southern victory, Rico Smalls didn't play at all. In fact, Arvell Nelson, who's not playing in this game, only entered the game after halftime. It was Gino Simone who started the game. They're going for it here on 4th down. Out of the spread, 5 wide receivers. Smalls rolling out. Does he have the corner? And he's going to be very close to a 1st down. Depends on the spot. And I was going to say, judging by the spot, it looks like he's got the 1st down, and he does.
They changed up their philosophy. They got soft. They went with the pure cover 2 defense, 2 safeties back, 5 guys dropping in coverage. At a certain point, you got to attack the line of scrimmage and force him to throw the football. You know he wants to run the football. Force him to throw. Come on up. He slid sideways and split the defense and picked up the 1st down.
That was the 25th 4th down attempt on the season, 12th conversion. A run here on 1st down, right to the outside. Breaks 1 tackle, and he gets to about the 29-yard line. Finally pushed out of bounds by Donovan Massline. Nigel Carr tried to get him by the ankles, but couldn't.
What a huge opportunity missed by the Alabama State defense. 4th and 5. You allow your quarterback to run forward, and you know that's what he wants to do. Could have gotten your offense on the field with good field position. More times than not, defenses can't overcome, teams can't overcome missing those big opportunities.
Whistle blows.
Alabama State.
Looks like we've got a timeout. Alabama State and Reggie Barlow
charge timeout.
Used their first timeout here in the 3rd quarter. It'll be 2nd and 5 Texas Southern when we come back. The Tigers less than a half away from a...
Style points don't show up in the box score. Talking a good game has never won a championship.
Welcome back to Birmingham and the SWAC Championship. Let's take a look at the road ahead, brought to you by Lexus. The 2nd edition of the HBCU All-Star Game will take place next Saturday in the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. And among those on the West squad is Akeem Barton, a young man from Tuskegee. He's a running back, 5'11" senior, who led the SIAC in scoring with 18 touchdowns. Then there's grounding running back Frank Warren, the nation's 3rd leading rusher, 1,537 yards and 18 touchdowns. And Arkansas Pine Bluff receiver Raymond Weber came within 1 reception this year of tying Jerry Rice's single-season record, finishing the year with 101 catches. Now let's send it back upstairs to Anish and Jay. Gentlemen.
Both these schools certainly familiar with Akeem Barton of Tuskegee. Tuskegee beat both Alabama State and Texas Southern. As Joe Anderson can't hold on to that throw from Rico Smalls. Maurice Tate applying the pressure. It'll bring up 3rd down, and again, another 3rd down. We'll see what this Alabama State defense can do. It seems Texas Southern, they just keep finding ways. I should say a 4th down now.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to...
A 3rd down, rather.
They'll try and do it, but you see when he throws the football and you make him throw not quite as accurate as you would like your starting quarterback to be. So
he's not the starting quarterback, though.
Yeah, playing by default. But let's see if Alabama State gets soft and play soft zone coverage. Do they get aggressive, move the defensive backs, and crowd the line of scrimmage?
This is Marcus Wright looking for a hole. Found one, but he might have gotten maybe a yard, maybe 2 to bring up 4th down. They already went for it once on this drive on 4th down. Do you do it again?
Oh, I think so. You know, unless you feel you're definitely in your field goal kicker's range, that's what you got to do. And see Coach Cole getting animated over there. You know, one thing I just want to say, going back to some of the points that Charlie talked about there, I mean, what a record-shaking year for some performers in the SWAC conference. I mean, Frank
Texas
Warren's
Southern has called their first time out, second half.
You know, running the football the way Frank Warren ran the football to Graham, and outstanding. Raymond Weber, I mean, go-to guy. We saw him up close and personal. What a phenom he was. So congratulations to those guys and much continued success. Charlie.
Well, you know, you talked about the West squad and some of those players. How about the East squad? It starts with Norfolk State running back D'Angelo Branch, the nation's 8th leading rusher, over 1,300 yards, and he had 13 touchdowns. And then you go south to Florida, and Florida A&M running back Philip Sylvester. He was the MEAC's #3 rusher with 968 yards and 10 touchdowns. And then, of course, on the defensive side of the ball, you got to look at David Irby from South Carolina State. He was the MEAC's Defensive Player of the Year. He led his team in tackles. He also had 5 sacks and 11 tackles for loss this season. The kickoff for that second annual HBCU All-Star Bowl will be next Saturday, 2 p.m. in the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Gentlemen?
Certainly we're looking forward to it. I mean, some of the top players that at least we've gotten a chance to follow throughout the season, and a chance for them to showcase their skills to the rest of the nation. Robert Hashon for a field goal, looking at about a 45-yard attempt. That would match his career long. And now a whistle. Looks like they had to reset the play clock, so 45-yard attempt. This would match a career long. Hirsch's kick is no good, so a miss from 45, and Alabama State will have pretty good starting field position here in the 3rd quarter when we come back. But the Hornets trail 11-0 in the SWAC championship.
Tonight, one college football player will transcend greatness and become a legend. The Heisman Trophy presentation tonight at 8 on ESPN.
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance?
That's offensive coordinator for Alabama State, Melvin Spears, traditionally known for having a wide-open, fun-and-gun style offense, but boy, it has been a challenge to do anything against this Texas Southern defense so far.
Yeah, he's been very challenging. You know, he's had to adapt. You know, one of the things he gained much success being the offensive coordinator, then the head coach at Grambling State when they had Bruce Eugene breaking all those records, FCS records as well.
Andrew Pitts, he gets a little bit of room down the sideline, a first down. Nice run there by Pitts. 14 yards for the freshman.
Well, this is an opportunity for Alabama State. You just got to get some points on the board. You'll see him there. This play's designed to go to the right. Texas Southern over-penetrates, and he's got enough athleticism and vision to get to the outside and pick up the first down. Good start to this second half for Alabama State. It's what you want to do. I mean, just imagine if they just get 3 points, you can put a little bit of pressure on Texas Southern, and maybe they would crack under the pressure.
Pitts again. Flag on the play. Came in at the very end. DeJuan Fulgham made the tackle. We've said his name quite a bit today, but let's see what the penalty is. It's against Alabama State.
Holding. 77 offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
It's the right tackle, Kevin Bryant. Hails from Miami, Florida. He transferred from North Carolina. Reggie Barlow says he's a temperamental kid, but he's got a motor when he's on, and he's got a mean streak.
I think all good offensive linemen, they got to have a little nasty up there.
You do.
You got to have a little nasty. And, you know, every play you're going to get beat up. You're going to try and beat somebody up.
2nd and 20 now. Here's the pressure. Dominguez being chased. We got a flag as Dominguez scampers out of bounds. And, boy, it feels sometimes like there's 13 or 14 guys on the field for Texas Southern, doesn't it?
Holding. Number 70, offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
And that's the left tackle, Taron Jones. Well, that's Shamari Clemens. Left the game earlier, junior linebacker former free safety, 7.5 sacks, 2 picks this season, a big part of their defense. Left this game earlier, and he is now out on the field but on crutches. Yeah. When you're facing, what, the #2 defense in the FCS, that doesn't bode well. 1st and 30. Toss play to Pitts. And he's dropped. Looks like he got back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. You know, the lesson plan for them was to have success on 1st and 2nd down. And I mean, are they looking for an F-? I mean, they've got to pick it up. And at this point, you got to realize, okay, if you're not going to have success on 1st and 2nd down, then at least start making some pass attempts downfield. Some incomplete passes. They're trying to run the football, getting penalized and getting tackled for loss behind the line of scrimmage. At a certain point, and it should be more sooner than later, you got to say, hey, let's just chuck it downfield. Maybe we can get a guy like Landon Jones to make a play, or Nick Andrews to step up and make a great catch for us.
Nick Andrews is the go-to guy. We have yet to call his name. Dominguez again. Everything broke down. He'll throw it downfield, and that's over the head of Nehemiah Henry's intended receiver. Nothing is ever settled back there, and a lot of it is because Texas Southern can generate a pass rush without blitzing.
Yes, they can, and the secondary just gets to sit back and do it. And they've got discipline in their secondary as well, too. So as much time as he has, there's still black jerseys that are around there. Sound fundamental defense being displayed by Texas Southern. Coach Barlow just has that look on his face like, what do we do next?
All right, it's 3rd and from Birmingham to about Montgomery right now. They have to get to the 48-yard line of Texas Southern for a 1st down. They're at their own 22 right now.
Heave it. At this point, heave it downfield. It's just like a punt. If they intercept it, it'll be just like a long punt.
Dominguez over the middle, and it is incomplete off the hands of Nick Andrews. Actually, Jordan McFadden, the intended receiver, and 4th down coming up. Anthony Spade on to punt it again. He's been a busy man today.
The frustration starting to set in. And now they're going to start to have that finger-pointing offense. You didn't do what you were supposed to do. No, you didn't do what you were supposed to be. Never a good sign on the offensive side of football.
5th punt for Spade. William Osborne catches it at his 38-yard line, and he's going backwards. 2nd time he's done that today. Texas Southern football, and we come back. Johnny Cole and the Tigers with an 11-0 lead here in Birmingham.
Attention if you have diabetes.
Hello, I'm Alan Thicke. As the father of a child with diabetes, it's important that I keep up to date with the latest in treatments and technology. That's why I'm happy to tell you about a breakthrough in diabetes care through CCS Medical. You don't need to stick your fingers anymore. This new meter allows you to test on your arm, so it's virtually pain-free. Plus, it uses gold test strips. Real laser-etched gold in every strip provides the ideal testing surface for one of the most accurate readings possible. Best of all, CCS Medical can send you this meter at no cost. With CCS Medical, they deliver your diabetes supplies to your home. They work with Medicare or your insurance to process the paperwork. They even have nurses certified in diabetes available to answer questions. And for a limited time, CCS Medical will also send you a diabetes cookbook. All this from a company trusted and recommended by thousands of doctors around the country. Call CCS Medical today.
Monday, Ray Lewis and the Ravens make their playoff push against Andre Johnson and the Texans. ESPN Monday Night Football, Ravens-Texans at 8:30.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will...
Great deal. You can tell it's Dell.
11-0 our score. Texas Southern still leading Alabama State here in the SWAC championship. You know, the 2011 edition of the MEAC SWAC Challenge will take place September 4th down in Orlando. And this year, or next year I should say, Prairie View will represent the Southwestern Athletic Conference in the contest, and they'll go up against Bethune-Cookman, who will be representing the MEAC. Meanwhile, the SWAC inducted 6 into their Hall of Fame on Thursday, including former Alcorn women's basketball coach Shirley Walker, who won more basketball games than anyone, 493. Willie Rat McGowan also, who coached baseball at Alcorn for 40 years, won 701 games and 4 SWAC division titles. And, of course, Oil Can Boyd, a baseball player who played college baseball at Jackson State, where he went 20-5 with 6 shutouts and 12 saves before being drafted by the Boston Red Sox. Oil Can Boyd, you remember him?
I remember Oil Can Boyd, had his baseball card, and you know, when you bring up a name like Oil Can, you say, where have all the great nicknames gone?
Where have they gone? Did you have any idea Oil Can Boyd went to Jackson State? I did not.
I did not until I saw the release earlier this week.
Thank you, Charlie. I appreciate that information.
Well, you know, I try to keep you updated on what's happening, and he had a pretty good career as a Major League Baseball pitcher.
Expos, Red Sox,
yeah. He pitched 10 years in the majors, and in 1985, he won 15 games for the Red Sox. His career was cut short by blood clots in his right arm, unfortunately.
Dennis Oil Can Boyd.
And our producer, Brett Walensky, telling us that Oil Can Boyd actually pitched for a semi-pro team in Brockton, Massachusetts after his playing career was over. Something tells me Brett may have gone to a few of those games. 3rd and long here for Texas Southern. Alabama State showing blitz, but they back off. Screen pass. This is Wright, and his second effort there may have gotten him the first down. It depends on the spot. It's going to be very close.
Wow, I mean, what a difference. And you talk about a defense that attacks and one that swarms. I mean, if this is Texas Southern, they would have had guys all over the ball the moment it left the quarterback's hand. Alabama State, a little passive, a little looking around, coming up. Poor job of tackling. He shouldn't have even been close to the first down, but a great effort by Marcus Wright. When he got that ball at least 8 yards from the first down marker and made a guy miss. Second effort, and I believe he picked up this first down.
He did get the first down. The scoreboard says 1st and 10. Now they do signal. If you're Texas Southern, the way your defense has just dominated this game, you know the strength of Alabama State is its secondary. They have guys back there who can intercept the football, who can run it back. Jaquez Rickerson, Kewan Riley. Why even throw the ball right now?
Yeah, and that's what they're not doing. They're going to run the ball. I mean, if you look at that last play there, they just had 9 guys around the line of scrimmage, and they ran the football, and they're continuing doing that. Unless Alabama State's going to continue to play with the 9-man box, then they're not going to run the football. And so I think, you know, your point is well taken, and I think that Johnny Cole's very intent on letting his defense win this championship.
I was going to say, until your defense shows you that it can't stop Alabama State, even if you got to punt and you got to put the defense back on the field, the Hornets haven't done anything offensively.
And right now you should sell out. If you're Alabama State, it's that time in the game where you sell out and you just allow guys to get to the quarterback.
Well, they throw there, and how about Joe Anderson fighting for yards? Gets down inside the 40-yard line, 22 yards on the play. They seem to be at least picking their spots where they throw, and they've been successful.
I mean, this right here, they're trying to play zone coverage, but you're looking in the backfield, so they catch a guy that's falling for the play fake, and he's up there with the quarterback when he should have been in the back in the secondary playing that outside divider. Nigel Carr, number 12, the outside linebacker.
Another quick screen. Alabama State looked to have that one read right away, but a nice second effort by James Davis, and he gets 5 yards instead of what looked like maybe a yard or 2.
Yeah, you know, fatigue starting to set in, and, you know.
Good point.
And unfortunately, I think reality was starting to set in. I think the defense is kind of giving up on the offense. I mean, they've played a great football game defensively, holding the team to 11 points in a championship game. You know, they've gotten it done, but the reality is starting to set in, and, you know, our offense isn't going to do it.
Jay, you played, put yourself on that sideline. What does 11-0 feel like at this point?
Anytime if you're on offense, you've given up, you got a donut on the board, you're disappointed, you're looking, and you're trying to tell yourself, come on, guys.
Because it's only a 2-score game in reality, but it doesn't feel that way.
No.
Dead ball. Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Another penalty on Texas Southern. It's really one of the few spots you can nitpick at today.
What do we say? They've won in spite of themselves. I mean, most penalized team in the SWAC conference.
Most turnovers.
Today they put the ball on the turf 4 times, but they're still winning in spite of themselves.
It speaks to just how good this defense is, and you got to remember, a few years ago, Texas Southern's defense, one of the worst in the country. This is Marcus Wright. And he pushes forward. He gets to the 33-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down.
I think this is one of those points where
this might be 2-down territory.
If it was early in the game, I'm sure it would be. And this is one of those points where you analyze, how did Texas Southern get to where they are? You know, considering, you know, they were down and out, and Johnny Cole came in there, and he's at that point with the program where he feels that we can recruit in the state of Texas now. And I think that's what's setting up this program for the long haul.
Smalls will throw. They sent the corner that time. Right, the catch. He's got space. It looks like he's going to be just shy of the 1st down. Again, it'll depend on the spot.
But as you alluded to earlier, clearly 4-down territory. You know, and considering how short they came up in that last field goal attempt, they'll be going for it again. And the good thing about this is, you know, you got a team that runs the ball, you expect to convert.
4th and a yard. Smalls dives forward, but a timeout by Alabama State before the play. You saw the Hornets shuffling out players, trying to get the right personnel on the field, and Texas Southern trying to catch him off guard.
It's called their 2nd charge, timeout.
I don't know if he would have gotten it. You know, the quarterback sneak, it would have been very close.
Let's look at that last play once again. Trying to substitute personnel, and Texas Southern sees this. They're trying to get the play off, but Reggie Barlow calling timeout before the Tigers could run their play. Well, you have set your DVRs, and if you haven't, that means you're watching live. Tonight, one college football player will transcend greatness and become a legend. Can Oregon's sensational sophomore LaMichael James bring home the game's most prestigious award, or will it be Stanford's Andrew Luck or Boise State's Kellen Moore? And then, of course, there's Auburn's dynamic dual threat, Cam Newton. It's the Heisman Trophy presentation presented by Nissan. It's on ESPN tonight at 8 Eastern. Cam Newton, the heavy front runner going in, but again, sometimes with the voting, you never know how people will vote depending on what has gone on off the field, even though a lot of that really hasn't been traced back to Cam Newton. And I have to give Cam Newton credit for this. Had that interview with Chris Fowler the other day. He came off very well, very polished, very confident. We got another timeout, this time Texas Southern.
You know, and to follow up on that point there, as Texas Southern takes a timeout, if there were no smoke, let's say.
I don't think it's close.
It'd probably be the biggest
That's called their 2nd timeout.
runaway victory for the Heisman. He would be competing for the largest margin of victory.
Yeah, O.J. Simpson currently holds that distinction.
Was there, but because there's plenty of smoke, I think that, you know, the race will be a lot closer than people think.
You bring up a point, plenty of smoke, but so far no fires.
So far no fires.
And nothing has really been proven. The NCAA, they, suspended him for a day, then he was reinstated.
You know, and it's one of those.
I think the worry more is long-term.
Long-term.
Do you give him the award? Is there concern maybe that you could have a Reggie Bush-type scenario manifest itself in a year or 2 years or down the road? But is it fair to keep somebody from an award when you're looking at a what-if scenario? 4th down here for Texas Southern. Big play in the game. Marcus Wright up the middle. I'm not sure he got it. Alabama State's defense looks to have held Texas Southern.
Good job there by the Hornet defense to not allow the second effort exerted by Marcus Wright to get him to the 1st down, to make it close where they're going to have to measure and get the spot.
Yeah, to eyeball it here, I'm not sure they got it. They might be a full yard or so short.
Well, they took that hold there. He was running into the back of the jersey. Then
Jimmy Daniels helping to bring him back.
No forward lean was allowed.
Marcus Solomon.
And remember earlier asked me, what's it like as a quarterback when you're there and you've got 0 on the board? Well, when your defense makes a play like that, that's when you know the defense is walking off the field and they're telling the offense, get your act together now. Now let's go out here and play ball. Maybe that can be the spark that just kind of increases a sense of urgency for this Alabama State Hornet offense to get something going.
Yeah, they will measure, and it looks to be, yeah, it's almost a full yard short. So Reggie Barlow fired up. Alabama State, really the momentum hasn't been in their favor all afternoon.
Has he said one pleasantry to the officials all afternoon?
Well, you know, in Reggie Barlow's defense, we talked about this off camera at halftime, half joking. It seems every bounce in this game has gone Texas Southern's way. They fumbled 4 times. They only lost it once. The one time they lost it, they got 2 points out of it. Yeah. They'll run on first down. Andrew Pitts lost the ball. Hornets do recover. Yikes.
At the end of this carry, you'll see Pitts here looking for some running room.
Fulgham.
Good tackle, helmet on the football. Ball normally comes loose, becomes dislodged, but good job by Pitts of recovering his own fumble.
No gain on the play, and Jay, 9 plays now for no gain or negative yardage for Alabama State in this ballgame.
Texas Southern going to bring pressure with the blitz. Opportunity for a big play if you can find an open receiver.
Here they come, and down goes Dominguez. DeJuan Fulgham, the SWAC Defensive Player of the Year. 4 sacks in this game for Texas Southern. They lead the nation in that department, now 46 on the season.
They got blitz. That's what they want to do. They want to bring pressure from Fulgham. Coming right here, going right up the gut, finding the quarterback, disrupting, just swam by the attempted block by Darius there. But that's when you got to know when they've got safeties that close to the line of scrimmage and you got some guys running vertical routes down the field, take a chance. You're not going to be able to run against 9 defenders that close to the line of scrimmage. You've got to throw the football.
Is this not the story of the game, 3rd and long for Alabama State?
The story of the season for Alabama State.
Dominguez again under heavy pressure, and he goes down. 5 sacks now for Texas Southern. LeGron Shields.
He's shot. He's worried about the stats. He threw the interception earlier, and he hasn't been the same quarterback since. And now he's worried about throwing another interception. You know, season's on the line. You can't worry about what your stat sheets look like. You're throwing less than 30%. Throw the football downfield. You can't take those sacks against that type of defensive front. You see Melvin Spears kind of letting them know.
3 quarters in the books. It's a SWAC championship that so far has been dominated by Texas Southern's defense. The Tigers are a quarter away. You're looking at the State Farm game summary. Texas Southern's defense. Look what they've done to Alabama State. The Hornets 39 total yards. In fact, more penalty yards than total yards. Alabama State, they haven't crossed the Texas Southern 47-yard line. And Rico Smalls, backup quarterback, playing for Texas Southern in place of the starting quarterback, Arvell Nelson. Team holding him out due to issues regarding his eligibility. As Anthony Spate punts this one, and here goes William Osborne. Down to the 36-yard line of Alabama State, and if Texas Southern can get a score here and make it a 3-score game, a touchdown would do that, they got a chance to put it away. Early season flashback, Texas Southern. This was kind of the win that announced how good this Tiger program was when they beat Grambling. Come from behind victory, a 41-34 win. And that's Arvell Nelson, a touchdown in overtime. And then they stop Grambling in OT. That was a game where their defense wasn't as good as they normally were, but boy, 41 points on Grambling, and they announced themselves, hey, we're a contender and we're a player in the SWAC.
Yeah, and I mean, Grambling, you know, that's Grambling's motto for the year was we're taking the SWAC back. They can't seem to get it out of Houston.
Rico Smalls going backwards there, and lucky to get rid of it. Second down, Kinjay Cotton applying pressure.
Last season, it was Prairie View A&M that won the SWAC. Western Division knocking Grambling off the throne. Grambling focused on Prairie View, but they forgot about Texas Southern, and Texas Southern keeping the SWAC West title in the state of Texas.
The SWAC has had 6 different conference champions the past 7 years. Give you a little history lesson. From 1977 to 2003, a 27-year span, Jackson State, Grambling, and Southern won 24 of the conference titles. So we're starting to see more parity in the league.
That's how you measure. You know, that's how you measure the program. If you want success in the SWAC program, it's how do you compare against Grambling, Jackson State, and Southern University? You see, Prairie View took them a while to get it done. But now there's been some turnover and some parity, which is good for the conference. Let you know, and you got the Alabama schools that got there, Alabama A&M, and when you go down a little bit further, you'll see that Johnny Cole brought the Alabama State program so close as well. So
somebody jumped here on third down.
Well, I'm just amazed at watching the SWAC conference change. It used to be a very pass-happy conference. You know, the conference of Jerry Rice, everybody threw the football up and down the field.
You don't see too many guys putting up big passing numbers anymore.
And now the teams that are winning are beating you up in the trenches. And I think that credit goes to.
There's no foul on the play. Legal substitution on the defense. Third down.
Don't forget, after the Heisman Trophy presentation tonight, it is The Pony Excess on ESPN, part of ESPN Films' critically acclaimed 30 for 30, the rise and fall of the SMU Mustangs, the story of greed, power, and corruption in Dallas that spilled from the oil fields onto the football field. SMU, of course, famously given that death penalty, and boy, not only a crushing blow to their program at that point, but it really set them back almost 30 years.
Those are just allegations. I guess you get the death penalty. It's proven allegations.
I think they found a few things, Jay.
They did, you know, and what's not looking good here is the downpours that were expected for the area starting to come now for Alabama State to rain on their parade.
Yeah, the skies have let out some rain here with 13:40 to go in the fourth quarter. A fourth down coming up for Texas Southern, and they'll bring out Francois Ejiofor to punt it. When these two teams played in October, boy, it was Ejiofor. Had a terrific game punting the football. A couple of punts inside the 2-yard line, and if he pins Alabama State deep, I mean, that would almost be like getting a score.
The way their defense is playing and going after it. And I think that's what they're going to try and do here.
Delay a game penalty right here, though.
But keep in mind, once it starts to rain in the weather, you do have to not be as aggressive as you would be in typical conditions, because, you know, guy slips and falls down, that could turn this momentum of the game around.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remain fourth down.
Jay, is it fair to say for Alabama State to have a chance, and we say that knowing full well it's only a 2-score game, but they haven't been able to move the football, they're going to need a big play from defense or special teams?
Yes, they are.
Ejiofor gets the punt off. This one bounces at the 5-yard line and goes into and out of the end zone. Alabama State ball at its own 20-yard line. Can they muster a comeback here in the final 13 minutes? Texas Southern up 11-0.
Our power trips to D.C. are a family affair.
Welcome back to the SWAC Football Championship. It's time now to bring the flavor of today's game, brought to you by McDonald's.
Bring it in, lay it out, time to win. Tell them what you about, HBCUs, here we go. See you, leave you on the ground. I wouldn't want to be you either. Me act SWAC, leave you at a whack. Yeah, we run you off the field, so you never coming back. Read them, HBCUs, here we go. See you, leave you on the ground.
That was McDonald's. Food brought the flavor.
Thank you, Charlie. And that's Nick Andrews. We have not said his name much at all today. He is an all-conference type wide receiver. And so far, Alabama State is struggling to get him involved into their offense. In fact, they've struggled all around on offense. The running game hasn't really been there. The passing game has been ineffective. From their own 20, Dominguez's pass is batted down by Marquise Jackson. But let's go back to Alabama State's last game. They lost in the Turkey Day Classic to Tuskegee, a Division II school. They struggled offensively in that game against a very good defense. When they finally started moving the ball in the fourth quarter, it was because they started targeting Nick Andrews.
Yeah, Nick Andrews came through with some phenomenal catches to get his team within striking distance in that game. And you've got to ask yourself, at this point in the contest, with time slipping away from you, when do you give your big play receiver an opportunity to go and make a big play?
Man coverage, bottom of your screen. It's Charles Payne. Dominguez again facing pressure, screen pass, and that's going for negative yardage. Quindarius McKibben making it an incomplete pass, so it'll be a 3rd down. Last time Alabama State was shut out, October 30th, 2001 against rival Alabama A&M, and we're being told we've never had a shutout in the SWAC championship game.
Yeah, in a conference that prides itself on offensive fireworks, you don't expect to see shutouts in the SWAC championship game. But when they got shut out, when Alabama State got shut out by Alabama A&M, that was here in the same stadium for the Magic City Classic.
3rd and 10. Dominguez goes down. Sack number 6. And guess who? DeJuan Fulgham, the SWAC Defensive Player of the Year. You saw the wag of the finger, as if to say, don't even think about it, Alabama State.
Just spy in the middle of the field. You've got to know, anytime you plan on running up the middle, Fulgham's going to be somewhere around there. That time it wasn't even a blitz, just great recognition. They kept an extra running back in the block.
Spate gets the punt off. It's a short kick taken by Osborne at midfield, and he is devoured. Solid special teams coverage by Alabama State, but Texas Southern will start at midfield. They're a little over 12 minutes away from their first SWAC title since 1968.
John Mapes is 42. Mortgage, marriage.
ESPN's College Football is presented by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
As you look at Ashton McClellan, the son of the Texas Southern Athletic Director, Charles McClellan, enjoying himself here. And, of course, the finalist for this year's Walter Payton Award that goes to the top offensive player in the FCS. The finalists, well, one of the players that's been announced as a finalist is Frank Warren from Grambling State University. Frank Warren had a fantastic year this year leading the G-men of Grambling. He's the 3rd leading rusher in the nation and 5th in points per game. Also on the list, Jackson State quarterback Casey Terrio, who threw 31 touchdowns this season while running for another 10. He led the SWAC with 3,600 total yards. And as you see, another play by Texas Southern. And, of course, Arkansas Pine Bluff wide receiver Raymond Weber finished the season with 101 receptions, 10 touchdowns, coming within one of tying Jerry Rice's single-season mark. And the Buchanan finalists, which honors the top defensive player, include safety Eugene Clifford of Tennessee State. He led his team in tackles. And Hampton defensive tackle Kendrick Ellis, who had 15 tackles for loss this season. And then the finalists for the Eddie Robinson Award, which goes to the Coach of the Year, include Bethune-Cookman coach Brian Jenkins, who led the Wildcats to a 10-2 record and a number 13 ranking. Jenkins also named the AFCA Region 2 FCS Coach of the Year. And Alabama State coach Reggie Barlow, who has the Hornets in today's SWAC championship game after 4 straight losing seasons. He's a candidate for the Eddie Robinson Award. And of course, you know, gentlemen, that all 3 of those awards, the Peyton, Buchanan, and Eddie Robinson Award, named after SWAC legends.
Indeed, and thank you, Charlie. Reggie Barlow, I think he would trade in a SWAC title before he'd get a Coach of the Year award, but his team is going to need a defensive stand and perhaps a big play from this defense. It's 2nd and long for Texas Southern. 11:45 to go in the ball game. On the ground, Marcus Wright turns upfield, and he is into Alabama State territory before driven out of bounds by Brandon Roberts.
What a job. You're looking at those awards there. What a job by Brian Jenkins, Bethune-Cookman. I mean, the fact, the undefeated first year there in the MEAC Conference, going to postseason play, then just got bit with some bad luck. I mean, you lose your Offensive Player of the Year, quarterback Matt Johnson, last game of the year, and you don't have him in the playoffs, but they still were competitive. I think we were both thoroughly impressed with the job he's done down there in Daytona.
Marcus Wright, by the way, Jay, with that last run, over 100 yards for the 7th straight game, and he is now within striking distance of the school's all-time single-season rushing record. Needs just 18 more yards. Smalls to throw here on 3rd down. Backs up, floats one down the sideline, but it goes out of bounds near the Texas Southern bench. 4th down. And Texas Southern, I think, would be willing to play this game. All right, it's 4th down. You're punting from midfield. Let's see if Alabama State can drive the length of the field. And, oh, yeah, they're going to have to score twice just to tie it.
Yes, like as if they're saying, hey, we dare you to score.
Yeah.
We dare you to score on us. And at this point, we dare you to even cross midfield.
They've only crossed midfield once, and they've had 2 plays in Texas Southern territory, none past the Tiger 47. Ejiofor, his punt is blocked. We talked about a big play they might need. They got one from special teams, but then Alabama State puts it on the ground. The Hornets, though, have recovered, and they'll start inside the Texas Southern 40-yard line. So we talked about needing a big play from either the defense or special teams. Donovan Massline, number 32, blocked the punt, 5'8", 160. Nearly blocked one earlier in the game, was actually called for running into the kicker. Here he blocks the punt, and Alabama State recovers. Nice hands there by big number 59, Kinjay Cotton.
The defensive line, did you see that? I mean, that ball was there. He looked the ball into his belly, and since he plays defense, he knew there was a sense of urgency to try and get the ball to the end zone. Well, that was the big play we said they needed. Can they capitalize?
This will be just their 3rd play in Texas Southern territory. Here we are with 10:30 to play in the 4th. Dominguez throws downfield, and he had a receiver, but it's over the head of T.C. McWilliams.
Yeah, T.C. McWilliams, we talked about how Nick Andrews has been their go-to guy throughout his career, but T.C. McWilliams is that guy that's got that little something special that they like. He was hampered at the end of the year.
A little banged up.
Got banged up, but now he's just now getting into health, and he's one of those playmakers that they consider a difference maker. That could have been a huge play had Dominguez thrown a more catchable pile.
Andrews in that first meeting did have a 67-yard touchdown catch, but he is without a reception so far. And again, Andrews, an all-conference type player. On 2nd down, low snap. Dominguez, he'll run. Bumped out of bounds. He lost the football, but he was already out of bounds at the 32-yard line.
So just do a hot. This is a hot read. You should have. You got 3 wide receivers on the side where they're bringing the pressure from. You'll see the pressure is coming from over this way. Hit one of these wide receivers coming across the field there. There's a weak spot in that defense. It's called a hot read. It's passing 101. But he just sees the blitz coming. He decides to take off right away and run.
All right, Jay, this is uncharted waters for Alabama State. It's 3rd and 2. We're used to seeing 3rd and 12, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15. This is manageable. 4 wide receiver set.
They got blitz again.
There's the pressure. Dominguez going long. There's a flag on the play. That's going to be pass interference. They went for Nick Andrews that time.
And the key there was the blitz protection pickup by the running back, and they saw the stunt, hit it, gave time for Dominguez to deliver a ball down the field.
Interference. Number 45, defense. 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic, 1st down.
That's the safety, Jerome Thomas, true freshman, and he got caught.
You know, anytime you get a wide receiver lined up one-on-one against a safety, advantage to the offense, especially when it's your go-to wide receiver. So schematically, they won the chess match there. They anticipated the pressure from Texas Southern. They blocked it, protected it, and got a one-on-one matchup.
And Jay, now they're in the red zone. Ball's at the 17. Now they're in field goal range. You even get 3 here. It's a 1-score game.
Yes, it is. And if you score a touchdown, you really scare the daylights out your opponent.
McKibben got a yard. 2nd down. Alabama State opened the season with 3 straight wins when they beat Prairie View A&M on the road. That really opened some eyes. And people thought, well, maybe this team is for real. Then they lost 3 straight. One of those 3 losses, the middle game, was to Texas Southern. Bounced back with 4 wins in a row before losing the regular season finale of the Turkey Day Classic to Tuskegee.
You give credit, those 4 wins in a row were must-win games. They knew if we lose another game for the rest of the season, our season is over. They won those games they had to win at the end of the year.
Andrews in motion. On 2nd down, here's Dominguez. Throws near sideline over the head of his intended target. Nehemiah Henry, the freshman, was who he was looking for. Henry's a guy that head coach Reggie Barlow told us will break every record before he's done. He's a young kid, lots of potential. And Reggie Barlow, he's a wide receiver. He knows a wide receiver when he sees one.
There's some big expectations placed on that young man, but I think it all starts with he's got to find a quarterback that he can develop some chemistry with.
They really haven't had one since Tavares Jackson. Empty backfield here on 3rd down. Tim Clark into the game. Dominguez has time. Throws. And he wide open. Charles Payne was wide open. They just floated it over his head. So 4th down, and now we'll see Andrew Lyons, the kicker, come on. And boy, this is going to be a crucial field goal attempt.
I mean, look how wide open the receiver is. You've got plenty of time. Settle down in the pocket. Nobody within 5 yards from him. 1st down and then some. You would have had a 1st and goal situation had he just made a better throw. Choosing to go for it now. I don't know. Down by 11. You need
Their defense has kept him in the game, yeah. Devin Dominguez only 3 for 17 in this game. Here comes the pressure. Dominguez gets rid of it. He's got Andrews. Finally, Nick Andrews. 1st and goal, Alabama State.
That was the hot read we were talking about. They want to bring that pressure up the middle. There's a weak spot in the middle of the defense, and they took advantage of that there. Get your best receiver close to the middle of the field. They bring the blitz up the middle. Somebody just replace. Basic hot read coming from the outside. He stood tall in the pocket, made a great throw. 1st down, Hornets.
So 1st and goal, now ball at the 4-yard line.
Now, know this is 4-down territory. If you're the quarterback, know this is 4-down territory.
Play action, end zone, incomplete. Andrew Tate, intended receiver. This possession very well could be the game if Alabama State can't get any points. Reggie Barlow, you saw him a moment ago, led his team, his alma mater, to a SWAC East championship. They were picked to finish near the bottom of the division, picked to finish 4th, end up winning the conference. Now trying to rally from 11-0 down. A run here on 2nd and goal, nothing. That's Jerome Thomas, the safety. Burned a couple times on this drive, a pass interference call. And then Nick Andrews, the 1st down catch, that was again on Thomas, but that time came up from the safety position to make the tackle.
Yeah, and what do you gain against bringing it in tight, packing it in tight against a very aggressive defense? I think the success they had was when they spread them out a little bit.
Yeah, but again, 4 of 17, 4 of 18 now throwing the football. And the first time these two teams played, Dominguez was 2 for 9, 2 interceptions. He threw as many passes to the other team as to his own team. Nehemiah Henry may have jumped on that near sideline.
False start. Number 6, offense. 5-yard penalty. Remain. 3rd down.
All right, now you got to reevaluate. Is it still 4-down territory?
Considering where you've gone, the direction you've been going since you got the ball inside the red zone, your red zone offense may not be up to par. So I would think at this point, you can kick a field goal.
Yeah,
unless you get it somewhere close within the 2-yard line and you can make it, 4th and less than 2 or 3 yards.
Five wide here on 3rd and goal. No blitz here from Texas Southern. Dominguez throws it and it's dropped by Payne.
No blitz by Texas Southern, but Dominguez acted as if it was a blitz. He had plenty of time to let the play develop and route go. Pocket was forming. He just got antsy. I mean, they're just bringing 4 linemen. There's a pocket there. Just stand tall in the pocket, make a read. The receiver would have been well short of the end zone in the 1st down.
Well, we're not seeing the field goal unit, Jay. I mean, what do you make of this strategy?
No faith in the kicker, so laying it all on the line.
Andrew Lyons, 8 for 15 this season, but they'll like to go for it. 4th and goal. It's a 2-score game. 3 points would help, but they're going for 6. They need a touchdown in the end zone, incomplete. Andrews wants a flag. I don't see any laundry. It is going to be Texas Southern football. And you just heard a roar from the Tiger contingent here at Legion Field. A stop by Texas Southern on 4th down. They're a little over 7 minutes away from a conference championship.
Are you ready for your talk, sir?
Just going over how Geico helps people save in even more ways.
Alabama State's failed 4th and goal attempt has given Texas Southern the football with 7:11 to go. It is 11-0 Tigers. Tomorrow night, it's ESPN's Bowl Mania special. We'll break down and rank all 35 bowl games. We'll help viewers fill out their Bowl Mania game on ESPN.com and provide detailed analysis. Hosted by Kevin Negandhi with Ed Cunningham and Robert Smith. Todd McShay will be on the big board. It's the Bowl Mania special Sunday at 8:30 Eastern. It's presented by Chevrolet Cruze. Now, if you're Texas Southern, you probably take your own sweet time after the clock starts rolling. Rico Smalls, backup quarterback. His team up 11 points. A run here on 1st down, and that's going nowhere. Marcus Wright stopped for a loss. Let's go back to that last drive for Alabama State. They had 1 4th down. They went for it. They got a 1st down. Had they kicked it, it's a 1-score game. It would have been about a 35-yard field goal. Then they had another 4th and goal. They needed a touchdown, didn't get it, and now it's a 2-score game with about 7 minutes to go, whereas even if he got the 3, you still only need 1 score. I mean, I'm just trying to think where Reggie Barlow is coming from there.
Well, I understand you don't change his philosophy. If you go for it on 4th and 9.
But you need 2 scores at the end of the day anyway.
I got you. I agree with you, but I'm saying his philosophy.
On the defense, more than 11 men in the formation, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
You know, just to make it simple, you say, hey, if I'm willing to go roll the dice on 4th and 9, why would I not roll the dice on 4th and 6? You know, so that was a challenge there.
All right, but you're around football coaches a lot.
Yes.
A lot of these guys are worst-case scenario guys. Worst-case scenario, you get 0. Now you still need 2 scores, but with less time.
Agreed.
A run here on 2nd down. And what we tell you about Marcus Wright, he gets stronger as the game goes on. You sensing it?
Yes, I am, but let's go back to that last point again. I'm starting to have it make sense a little bit. They got the ball on a turnover.
Okay.
And so prior to that, they had not been able to cross midfield. So maybe his thought process was, we got to get this touchdown now, and then maybe if we're fortunate enough to cross midfield again, we can try and kick a field goal, you know, a long field goal. But we can't move the ball down on them twice. We won't get the ball this close to the end zone again.
I might tell you how much faith that Alabama State coaching staff has in its offense right now, and a lot of that is because of Texas Southern's defense. It has been a blanket. Right on 3rd and short is going to be close.
And that was one the Hornets wish they could have made a stop there and try and force 3 plays and then get the offense back on the field, but it looks like they're going to come up just a little bit short. Should be a 1st down for Texas Southern, and now at that stage of the game where after every play, you're looking up at the scoreboard, seeing how much time is ticking off the clock.
Marcus Wright, by the way, 10 yards away from setting the school's single-season rushing record. And if you're Johnny Culp, if you read his quotes and talked to him, he'll tell you how much that first win in October against Alabama State meant to him. What would this mean to him, given all that's gone on when he was at Alabama State and where he is now with Texas Southern?
I mean, it just speaks phenomenal. I think there's never been a question about Johnny Cole's ability to coach. You know, I think there's always been a question of, well, will he have what it takes to get over the hump? And I think right here, to go back to your alma mater and to really build a program that you think is going to compete year in, year out, not a one-year wonder, shows what a job he's done and how he's matured and the expectations he's starting to bring to the campus down there in Houston.
Johnny Cole has embraced Marcus Wright. Marcus Wright is now the school's all-time single-season rushing leader after that last run. And boy, it has been an odyssey for that young man. He was the starting running back 2 years ago, got hurt last year, was disciplined. He was suspended by Johnny Cole. Martin Gilbert was the main guy last year, was the team's leading rusher. But Wright came back this year, sort of hat in his hand, said he'd be willing to do the work, willing to be the program guy. And what a terrific season he has had. We're talking about 1,200 yards rushing. Took a big hit there from Donovan Massline. But Texas Southern right now, the clock is its best friend. And Stop now because there's a man down, but it was moving.
Yeah, that's mass line there, and I think, you know, the hard running by Wright, probably his knee might have kneed mass line in his head. And a collision out there.
And Johnny Cole, he was, as you were saying, he was at Alabama State. He was an assistant. He was the offensive coordinator. His brother was the head coach. And they did have some success there while the two were there, but it was sort of what happened in the aftermath. Reports came out that some rules were broken. There were some NCAA violations. And the regime that took over after, that was Reggie Barlow's regime, they had to pay the price for that a little bit in terms of losing scholarships, probation. And this is the last year that they're on probation.
Yeah, you know, and it's a love-hate because I will say the Cole brothers are loved in Montgomery, Alabama.
Right.
I mean, they still love them there, but yet they love Alabama State more. So there were some folks that were divided in Montgomery, but I think at the end of the day, you know, they're Hornets first, and I think they're proud of Johnny Cole and the job he's done. I had an opportunity to talk to Johnny and LC yesterday at the practice, and LC Cole's the older brother of Johnny Cole. And, you know, it's funny, when the older brother, when they had all the success, it was always the offense that was carrying everybody, the big play offense, and LC would always say, we got to get tighter on defense. Well, the year when Johnny looks like he's on the way to win the championship.
Number 70 offense. 10-yard penalty, previous spot enforcement, replay, second down.
That's now Matt Hardick, again, third holding penalty on him.
Yeah, but the moment they win the championship, it's the defense that wins the championship. And you know what LC was saying? I've been telling him that for years, Jay. Defense wins championships. Hey, he finally got the message across to his younger brother.
How about a little credit also to Texas Southern's defensive coordinator, Kevin Ramsey. When he took over, Texas Southern's defense was giving up about 39 points per game. They were 114th out of 118 FCS schools. He switched the scheme from 3-4 to 4-3. You saw massive improvements last year. They were in a lot of games last year. They had a winning record last year. And then from last year to this year, that defense has taken that next step, and they went from being one of the best to maybe the best in the FCS.
That's a phenomenal job. And, you know, and the credit goes to this coach staff. I mean, most of the players that were previously here under Steve Wilson, most of those guys were gone, kind of got ran off the program a little bit, brought in some transfers and had a mix of players. And now this is his program. And, I mean, they're lined up to have better years. You look at Marcus Wright, he's just a junior now. I mean, they've got Rico Smalls, a quarterback who's going to be able to play, that's battle-tested and proven that he can play. This is a team that's going to be very interesting to beat. You got a new stadium coming. You can help go recruit some more players to come to.
It certainly helps. I mean, you're in Houston. I mean, that is a big metropolitan area in the state of Texas. And, you know, we know a 3-star recruit in Texas, a 2-star recruit in Texas, and a few other states, there may be 4-star guys.
Yes.
And not to say that, you know, an FCS program will often get those guys, but, boy, there are a lot more hidden gems in Texas than there are in, let's say, Rhode Island or Nebraska or Wyoming. I mean, you know, I'm throwing just some states out there, but guys who may get overlooked in the state of Texas, sometimes you can find some really good players.
Yeah, I mean, Johnny Cole was well aware of that when we talked to him. I mean, he said, I don't have to go anywhere. He said, I mean, you know, we had early on when we got here, there wasn't enough Texas on the roster. Our goal is to go bring Texas back to the roster.
You look at that, 46 players on Texas Southern's football team from the great state of Texas. Still 9 from California and 8 from Florida. And, you know, Johnny Cole, he coached in some other places where he's got some ties. And you saw, you know, some Louisiana and Ohio in there as well. Got a kid from New York on the team. Think about what Johnny Cole is about to do.
Timeout, Alabama State.
After the 07 season,
Alabama State.
This team was 0-11.
Final charge, timeout.
3 years later, they're on the precipice of a SWAC championship. And speaking of Houston, you can catch the Texans on Monday Night Football this week. Or I should say next week. They'll take on the Ravens, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Game will be right here in Houston. Coverage starts at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown, served by Applebee's. We're not in Houston, but Texas Southern, they'll have a hero's welcome when they go back to Houston.
Yeah, the media coverage they got from this city was
a lot
great.
of Houston media at this game as well.
Yes, I mean, you figure what we talked about in the open, they hadn't won a SWAC championship since 1968.
They haven't lost this season since a September 25th loss against Tuskegee. 7 wins in a row, closing in on 8. Ejiofor's punt, fielded by Rickerson. Jaquez Rickerson in space, down the sideline, tiptoeing out of bounds inside the 20. And boy, does Reggie Barlow wish that he had maybe kicked the field goal earlier.
Whoa, Nelly. Not so fast. Good job by Rickerson getting to the outside. Now watch this great move in a small space. Watch a little shake right here. Wet turf we talked about. It could come into play later. Makes the punter slide down. That close to taking that to the house. And the key is now you got to score quickly. Got to score quickly.
Rickerson is a kid who transferred from Florida. Great athlete, heavily recruited. I mean, he did go to Florida. And he's a game breaker. He's made some big plays on special teams. And really, special teams is the reason that Alabama State even had a chance today. Not to say it's over. 1:48 left. They're out of timeouts. 5 wide receivers. Dominguez steps up. He'll run. He's got room. Inside the 5, down to the 2-yard line. Curtis Thomas prevented a touchdown.
Get him up to the line of scrimmage right now. You want to hurry up, get him to the line of scrimmage. Don't use your timeout. You got to save those the best you can.
Boy, how different is this if it's 11-3? 4 receivers, bunch to the left. Dominguez under pressure. Throws, touchdown, T.C. McWilliams. Alabama State with 1:20 left in the game is on the board. And now you got to go for 2.
Got to go for the 2. And see here, it looked like it was going to be a sack in the backfield, but big, strong kid able to step through the arm tackle and find TC in the back of the end zone for the touchdown.
Special teams nearly set up a scoring opportunity last time after a block punt. A nice return by Jaquez Rickerson, and then 2 plays later, a touchdown. T.C. McWilliams, his 8th touchdown of the season, the former walk-on. And now 5 wide from the 2-yard line as they go for 2.
Middle field open if he decides to run it.
Under pressure, and that one bounces at the 1-yard line. Incomplete. And now, I imagine you got to resort to the onside kick.
Running the blitz, the pressure, unblocked guy. You got to get rid of that ball hot. That's Rashad Gaines there putting a big stick on Dominguez.
The one advantage that Texas Southern's coaches told us that they have is they've got linebackers who are so versatile. They can come after the quarterback, they can get to the quarterback, create pressure. But when teams go 4-5 wide and spread them out, a lot of these guys are converted safeties. So they can guard slot receivers, and you don't have to substitute players out, and you don't have to worry about changing personnel to match up with what the offense is doing.
And another key is they don't have to cover those guys in coverage for too long because you know the defensive line is going to apply pressure. So you can kind of anticipate some routes.
All right, Jay, I got a stat for you here. Alabama State this season, 2 for 2 on onside kicks.
Wow. It gets interesting.
I mean, this is pretty much the game here. Alabama State needs this. They're out of timeout, so if Texas Southern recovers, do the math. There's 1:20 left. They can just get in that victory formation, and they'll celebrate a SWAC championship for the first time since 1968. The wind knocked the ball off the tee. They'll have to tee it up again. Andrew Lyons, Jr. from Panama City, Florida. He's the man, the golden shoes. Here's the onside kick, high bounce. Texas Southern has it, and all they have to do now is run out the clock. Richard Samuel went up to snag the football out of the air. There is a flag on the play. usually on onside kicks, it's against the kicking team.
Game on the kicking team. The kicking team member kicked the ball prior to it being made ready to play. Re-kick.
Re-kick.
That's a re-kick. That's a break. That was before the play. That's not something you can decline.
Yes.
And that might have been the best thing that happened for the Hornets. They haven't gotten a single bounce or a single ball go their way for most of the afternoon.
Yeah, you've got to wait for that whistle. You know, you're told to sit there and wait till they turn and then blow the whistle. They didn't blow the whistle. They kicked it on their own. So it'll be a re-kick. Lucky penalty. You ever heard that phrase? Lucky penalty.
Well, remember
on the Hornets.
Earlier in the game, they declined a holding penalty. Alabama State did against Texas Southern. And that would have made it 3rd and long. Instead, they said, no, we'll take it at 4th and 4. Texas Southern goes to punt. What happens?
Run into the kicker.
Running into the kicker. And that gave Texas Southern a first down. So perhaps karma coming back the way of Alabama State as the wind knocked the football off the tee. Now wait for the official to signal ready. Another flag on the play. Texas Southern recovered the kick. It was Richard Samuel again, part of the hands team. Rod Holloway, the man in the white cap.
Offside on the kicking team. 5 yards will be added to the spot of recovery. First down, Texas Southern.
Johnny Cole. That's got to feel good for him. At his alma mater, turning a program around that was 0-11 when he took over after the 07 season. In fact, Texas Southern, you look at their history. From 2001 to 2007, they won a total of 16 games. They had only 4 wins from 04 to 07. And Johnny Cole, the man, he has his share of critics, but he produces results.
Oh, got the cameraman in there. Don't get too close. That cold water never felt so good. And you can tell by the passion he had when they finally beat Grambling just to get to this game, what it meant to him. And then to come in here and take care of business feels that much greater.
One more kneel down will do it. Texas Southern, SWAC champions for the first time since 1968. This is a program that has been in the dregs of the conference for so long. And Johnny Cole, a great quarterback at his university in the 80s, and now he has brought the Tigers to the mountaintop.
Texas Southern University.
With Georgia.
Texas Southern closes the season with 8 straight wins, and they knock off Alabama State 11-6. It's the Tigers who are SWAC champions. Congratulations to Johnny Cole and his staff for just a remarkable season.
It wasn't an easy path, but it was a path well worth it. Congratulations to everybody down in Houston, along with Athletic Director Charles McClellan, having the vision. Hats off.
Defense won a championship for Texas Southern. 11-6 your final. We'll come back to wrap up our game here in Birmingham on the Lexus HBCU postgame report.
Man must rise above the earth, for only then will he fully understand the world in which he lives. The U.S. Air Force celebrates the men and women who, for the past century, have pushed the envelope of military aviation. And we look forward to the next 100 years of doing the impossible.
right, agents, what do we got?
An older guy picked up a young girl at a local bait shop, wanted to impress her, so they went for a spin. Too much throttle coming out of a figure eight, lost control, ramped off a dock, ended up in a tulip poplar.
Okay.
I'd suggest adding a watercraft policy to their overall insurance plan.
One that includes collision and passenger liability.
Very good. Moving on.
We are insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
Welcome to the HBCU postgame report brought to you by Lexus. Our final score here in the SWAC championship, Texas Southern 11, Alabama State 6. Johnny Cole celebrating a SWAC championship at his alma mater. First SWAC title for Texas Southern since 1968. There's that old adage, defense wins championship. This Texas Southern defense dominated all season, and boy, we saw maybe their best effort this afternoon. 6 sacks, an interception. Alabama State couldn't do anything.
I mean, in a championship game, to make a team so one-dimensional is phenomenal. You know, teams want to come in and show offensive balance. They eliminated everything, and with the backup quarterback as their quarterback, they knew they had to be more aggressive. They rose to the occasion.
Rico Small started at quarterback for Texas Southern. The backup, Arvell Nelson, couldn't play according to the university.
Yeah, right away, you know, they established control of the line of scrimmage, getting there with the 4-man rush, eliminating the running game, and then allowing their all-conference linebacker defensive player of the year, Fulham, to get involved and make tackles for losses behind the line of scrimmage. They had Alabama State puzzled all game, muzzled. They couldn't do anything, barely allowing them to cross midfield only on 2 occasions.
Jay, look at the stats. Alabama State held under 100 total yards, 72 total yards. Time of possession, it felt that the Hornets never had the football. Texas Southern, more than 41 minutes, unheard of. 18 first downs to 7, and you look at the sacks. Texas Southern led the nation with 6 sacks, or in sacks. They had 6 in the SWAC championship. Let's go down on the field and Charlie Neal. Charlie.
Well, one of the things that Coach Cole just said to me is, you know how long I've been waiting to talk to you? 24 years. You never won the SWAC championship as a player. What does it mean now that you've won it as a coach?
It's great. It's even better as a player because, you know, we hadn't won in football for so long. Winning a day is the best record since 1956. And winning this championship, the first outright, it's even sweeter. This is very sweet. It's for our alumni, it's for our community, and, you know, we just going to enjoy it.
Talk about Rico Smalls and what he was able to accomplish today, being that Arvell Nelson was not able to play.
Rico he's a warrior. I mean, the guys, you know, they come around. He's our future. You know, what a better game to start. You know, he's 1-0 in his career at Texas Southern University. We had all the confidence in the world that he could get it done.
All right, well, congratulations, Coach of the Year, SWAC champion, first time since 1968. Let's send it back upstairs to Nathan J.
This is the voice of black college football.
Thank you.
Oh, that's tremendous. I mean, Johnny Cole, I'd rather you not. I'd rather you not. It's a great moment down there for Johnny Cole. I mean, you saw how excited he was to talk to Charlie and finally get his hands on that trophy. And again, I think you have to remember the tradition and the history of Texas Southern. This isn't, you know, one of the SWAC powerhouses. This is a program that has been searching and searching for a long time.
And he's paid his dues. Been an offensive coordinator for years within the black college community. His second job as a head coach, and to go ahead and have success at your alma mater makes it that much sweeter. Job well done, and he changed his philosophy to show that he's more than just an offensive coach. He can coach great defenses too.
That was your Lexus HBCU post-game report. For Charlie Neal, for Jay Walker, I'm Anish Shroff. It has been a pleasure. Texas Southern, your SWAC champ, 11-6, the final here in Birmingham. Coming up next, it's the 2010 National Finals for Rodeo from Las Vegas. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. So long from Alabama.